A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low-maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises, move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
For over 3 decades, Regent Homes has been synonymous with crafting architecturally bespoke homes, each one a testament to Regent Homes' unwavering commitment to design, quality and sophistication. And because Regent Homes is a South Australian family-owned company, they understand more than anyone what it takes to build a family home. Experience Regent Homes' award-winning display homes at Lightsview and Blackwood Park. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
Live Golf Adelaide is back for its second year. How good is this going to be? The excitement is in full swing. It's golf but louder. Don't miss this global golfing spectacle as it tees off right in our own backyard.
Yeah, if watching the Masters this morning has whet your appetite, make sure you get along to see the world's best golfers in action up close, like John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Cam Smith, Phil Mickelson and DJ Dustin Johnson. Live, of course, stands for 54, the Roman numeral for 54, which is, unlike the Masters, which is 72, how many holes of top-shelf golfing action you can expect.
But it's an action-packed weekend, even if you're not a golf fan. Enjoy shotgun starts and fan village fun, plus amazing live performances from headline music acts.
Live Golf Adelaide runs April 26 to 28. Kids under 12 enter free. Tickets at livegolf.com.
Damn it, ow.
What's wrong, Bob?
Oh, these shoes are not as comfy as they used to be.
Well, they've got to be 15 years old, and they look like...
These are my favourites. I reckon they're 15 years old.
No kidding.
They used to feel so nice on, like slippers. I think my feet have changed.
I wish something else would change. Bob, let's go to Gilmore's and get some comfy new shoes. They'll measure your feet and fit you in something really nice, like a casket.
Sorry, what was that?
A basket. We'll need a basket.
Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
Send me more pics, but unzip all the way.
Hey! Who's sending you pics?
Whoa, hey, don't open that.
Once you've seen an Austrac camper, you'll just want one.
Austrac!
Austrac!
Austrac campers!
Streaming live via the FIVEAA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is FIVEAA, always Adelaide.
The FIVEAA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite FIVEAA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, FIVEAA Breakfast.
8 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on FIVEAA Breakfast. It is the 15th of April. We're going to take to the US in the first hour of the program this morning. Tim Lester's going to join us. We'll talk about the latest with regard to Israel's response to an attack on its country originating from Iran, which is significant. Significant too is some of the rhetoric coming out of Israel and the upper echelons of government. We'll talk about that before 7 o'clock. After 6:30, we might talk a little bit more about changes to the posts that are coming into effect today. That you'll be receiving it less often, as you just heard Lucy describe it in 5AA News a moment ago. We'll be chatting with the Mayor of Waverley Council, which is where Bondi Junction is after 7 o'clock today. We're getting some more details, some good news through about some of the people that have been in hospital, but obviously just an awful situation that played out over the weekend, and we'll get you up to speed with developments on that front, including lines of police inquiry, some suspicions about the motive of the person involved, and indeed too just an update on everyone involved from the police officer who ultimately saved the day to a host of other people there and those in hospital as well. We'll be chatting with Liam Tapper from Sunrise, who's at Bondi Junction, Westfield this morning as well. And just as we mentioned during that advertisement for Live Golf a moment ago, the Masters is on at the moment. 5AA has a golf reporter over there. You might not necessarily associate him with golf. You might associate him with being one of the greats who ever play for the Bays. Graham Corns is over there covering the Masters, covering, I think, in the loosest of inverted commas. But we're chatting with him after 8:30 when we might have a sense. Is it going to be Scotty Scheffler? Is it going to be Morikawa? Who will win? Well, maybe Stud can reveal all after 8:30 today. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. How did Cornsey get that gig?
It's a great question.
Why didn't we think of that?
We're not the smartest. Cornsey's been around. That's why.
Yeah.
Cornsey knows what's what.
He's actually a proper golfer too.
Is
I'm
he?
not sure what his handicap is, but he's
a proper golfer.
He's a very good golfer, very good player.
Right.
He was a member at Glenelg. I think he plays pretty much every single day of the week.
Is that how you get to cover the the Masters? You have to go and sort of hit a certain
I don't know.
handicap threshold, maybe.
There's probably a lot of people listening, maybe guys getting up to have a hit at Flagstaff Hill or, out at Paracombe or wherever this morning who are going, well, hang on, I play golf every day. Why not at the Masters?
It's a select few get to go. I'm looking forward to that chat, actually.
No, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And a great weekend in a local sporting sense for both of our clubs. But obviously the story's Sydney, and just I find it really hard to comprehend. It's just horrible. It's horrible in so many ways, and I think it raises serious questions about the way we manage people with really serious mental health problems in the community. Because this idea that you can sort of care for yourself the way this guy did, well, clearly the bloke couldn't. I think one of the most amazing statements to come out of it was his family saying last night that Amy Scott, this incredible policewoman, that they hold no ill will against her and that she was only doing a job. That's a huge thing for that family to have said, and hugely important for Amy Scott, because clearly you'd think, well, this is my job. I've got to protect people. But when push comes to shove and suddenly, it's not like this is some back alley siege at 3 o'clock in the morning that everyone's going to forget about 12 hours later, where one druggie gets shot dead, whilst holed up in a house in some drug deal gone wrong. Like, this story is going to be etched into the national psyche and more so the Sydney psyche for a very long time. But for them to sort of exonerate her because I feel so sorry for that family. How would you be being the parents of this guy?
Yeah.
His siblings having to go to work. I don't know if he's got siblings, but imagine he's your brother or something.
Yeah, your relation, your cousin, whatever it would be. You're right about the cop. She was unbelievable. And you say, all right, you in her mind you're thinking, well, it's my job. Well, we've seen a pretty obvious fight or flight mentality among police officers in the US in these situations, haven't we? In recent memory. Yeah. They don't always just run in. And because this horrible thing played out in a Westfield, everything's on camera.
Yeah.
And I saw this morning for the first time her literally running into the action, where
it's amazing.
She charges at this guy with other shoppers behind her. They sort of form this mob, but it's her at the point of it. She's running this police officer into God knows what, just knowing something horrible's happening. And she renders the bloke first aid. The whole thing reminds me of, to go to your very original point, which is very much what do we do about this now stage? What comes of this? How can this be prevented in the future and so forth? This to me feels like the big scale version of what happened to that real estate office at Plimpton.
Yeah.
So I thought over the weekend.
Yeah, totally.
It's just that bloke here went into a small real estate as opposed to going to Westfield.
That's exactly what it is.
So makes it less uncommon. If you think about it, those sorts of...
Or the head of psychiatry here in South Australia being stabbed in the floor of a workplace.
Absolutely.
There's been plenty of other cases as well. I wonder how Phil Walsh's family feel, because it's all in that same category of, I just can't. I don't think you can logically or fairly muster hatred towards the perpetrators in cases like this. This guy's clearly got massive issues, and we're hearing this morning now that the theory is he was deliberately going after women. But I just worry about the extent to which these people are left to fend for themselves and just end up completely unable to function in a normal way.
Yeah, there's a quote this morning in the paper I saw from someone who sort of warning against stigmatising people with mental health. And I don't think anyone's going to do that out of this, but also sort of saying this is a time to engage more in these kind of community care programs and so forth. I thought that's a curious reading of all this.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
That we need to go further down this path. And the other thing I think, are these people being well served by a sort of a very hands-off system that we seem to have now? Is it better for them? Or is it just better for them?
About this bloke's lifestyle, there's just nothing good about it at all. Just crazy. But Amy Scott, there is a name that everyone is going to remember because Yeah, she's just... I don't know how you do that.
Oh,
And the fact that she shot the guy and then immediately started giving him CPR, you know, like thinking, well, I don't really want him to die, but he's clearly, you know, in more trouble than the early settlers, and she's on top of him. Sort of everything she did was her training.
yeah.
And, but that instinct, to have that instinct is unique.
Heroic. There's no other way to describe it.
Special shout out too to the guys with the bollards.
Yeah, they both had French names, those blokes, but construction workers.
One was Ukrainian.
Yeah. They were unbelievable. It's amazing. You can see the fibre of people in a situation.
But most of
like that,
all,
can't you?
I tell you what, I'd hate to have... Imagine being in Sydney today, working in the media.
Just awful.
Don't even want to think about it.
No.
I reckon too, I think a lot of our listeners... Last night, we have been... All weekend, every time the news has come on, the TV news have turned it off with the kids in the house. And, you know, and they're around a lot because it's school holidays now. But last night, when even before knowing what they were going to do, I think Albo went on 60 Minutes and Seven did a special spotlight report on it. I said to Kate, let's watch the last quarter again on Fox Footy. And then there's an Anthony Bourdain special on at 9:30 on SBS. I reckon a lot of our listeners would have been in that same boat of going, I know enough about this story. I'm tapping out.
Yeah, I think that's entirely human. Thankfully, we've got Tom Wren to talk sport. We'll be doing precisely that. And if we can get him to talk about the footy, that'd be excellent. I know he's currently right now glued to a TV screen watching the Masters, but we'll do that in a moment. Let's take a break. We'll jump into the news headlines next.
Having access to reliable healthcare services gives us all peace of mind. Too many South Australians living hundreds of kilometres from Adelaide have a local hospital that doesn't have enough nurses or midwives. Frightening? Without state government action, we won't have the nurses and midwives needed to keep our regional hospitals running. Support those who care for us at regionalincentives.com.au. Authorised by EDBAR's ANMF SA Branch Ridleyton.
What's got Mike singing? Mike just got an energy-efficient heat pump installed by EcoVantage. Not only is it using nearly 80% less energy than his old hot water system and saving hundreds off his power bills, he got it for free. Thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you can get your own energy-efficient heat pump from just $0. Pump your energy bills down with EcoVantage. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
Alfred James Funeral Homes is built on a legacy of compassion, honour and service, so it's no surprise that they're there for families in their time of need. They've been doing this for over 100 years. What may be surprising, though, is the lengths they'll go to help you pay tribute to the life of your loved one.
It doesn't matter if you've got a special song that you think is a bit unconventional. They'll play it. It might be a eulogy that's both heartwarming and hilarious. They'll laugh along with you. And don't forget, how's this? Alfred James Funeral Homes, they're the ones launching ashes into orbit on a SpaceX rocket.
Now, look, if you'd prefer that to being stuck in an urn on the back of a wardrobe, well, you know who to call. At your time of need or to arrange a prepaid funeral, speak to Alfred James Funeral Homes, honouring lives in extraordinary ways.
Pathology is an essential part of our healthcare system, and 70% of all our medical decisions rely on pathology tests. They help GPs and other healthcare professionals diagnose illnesses, diseases and infections, and we all benefit from pathology being bulk billed. But government funding hasn't increased in 24 years, so to keep pathology affordable and accessible for all Australians, visit keeppathologybulkbilled.com.au. Authorised by LWET, Australian Pathology Canberra.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
90 minutes after 6, Tom Wren in a moment. We'll talk sport, reflect in depth on both the Crows and Port's wins over the weekend, both just extraordinary, pretty exciting at the end. I heard during Rennie's Sports Wrap earlier, Tim Ginniver just announced that Brayshaw had kicked the winning goal for Freo. Classic Timmy way, and then Port, there was plenty of time left and Port ended up winning the game. But Timmy had written it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll not talk to Rennie about that shortly.
Did he have a full-blown, that's it, I'm out, I'm not watching this?
I think he was working up to it, and then they came back and won.
Did a bottle go flying across the room? Pens, apparently pens.
Yeah, okay.
No,
he was only at pens.
No office item is safe when things go badly at the footy with Tim.
Timmy's not really angry if he's only throwing pens. He's just working up to a real full bottle Vesuvius moment.
Keyboards.
All right, let's get into the news headlines on this Monday morning. With some breaking news first. Fire crews are responding to a house fire near Port Road behind the old Adelaide jail. It's believed to have started around 5 a.m. this morning. Smoke is visible around the Benithan Park area. SA police have confirmed it is under control, with MFS crews remaining on the scene at the moment. I think people driving past the Coke factory would have seen smoke, or perhaps they thought it was fog, just around 5 a.m. this morning, but in fact it was smoke from this house fire. When I was going past, lots of fire engines in the area. But it sounds like that one is well and truly under control. We'll get some more information for you on that as it does come to hand. The Queensland family of the Bondi Junction killer says they're devastated by the traumatic events over the weekend in Sydney. They've described the 40-year-old's actions as horrific and are still trying to understand and comprehend what happened. They also say, and David made this point at the start, this was hugely important, they've got no issues with Inspector Amy Scott, who shot their family member, saying she was doing her job to protect others, and they hope she is coping okay. Police have arrested a man over the murder of 21-year-old William Holdback, who died in Welland last week. Mr. Holdback was found on Barpowell Street just before 1:30 a.m. last Wednesday morning, dying of critical stab wounds. Witnesses tried to keep him alive, but he did die at the scene. A 27-year-old man was arrested late on Saturday at a northern suburbs home. He's been charged with murder and refused bail to appear in court later today. So that's a story we'll have more information on. Really graphic and horrific.
Horrible.
Audio came out after that effect of of William Holdback's final moments.
Great work by the cops, though.
Well, they've turned it around in less than a week.
Less than a week, yeah.
That's
this time last week
work.
we were talking about this.
The United States has hosted a meeting of G7 countries to call for more restraint in the Middle East. Israel says the...
More restraint?
More restraint, yeah, it's been a lot of restraint.
I think any restraint would be an improvement.
One of the funniest things, was it William Kirby, the spokesperson, the White House defence spokesperson?
I'm not sure.
He said, I think it was either him or Macron said over the weekend that this Iranian missile attack threatens to destabilise the region. What does it?
Yeah.
Because up until this point, it was going swimmingly.
Oh, yeah, everything was just ticking along perfectly.
Everyone was going well.
How terrifying is that Iran stuff, though? These drones, like, this is the future of war, isn't it?
Well, it looks like it's the world's scariest fireworks display, isn't it? You see the images over Israel.
But if you don't have an Iron Dome, if you're not Israel, like say you're any other country in the world without some,
missile defense system,
intercepting technology. So say one of our neighbours takes a set against us.
New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. Say they get their hands on some drones. Well, I imagine they're probably not crazily expensive either, are they, these drones?
No, that's what makes them the future of warfare.
I mean, you've got to have a weapon attached to them, I guess. But imagine that, like, you've got no way of intercepting them and just sitting there, because the Israelis knew that they were coming, like 4 hours in advance.
They shot down 99% being reported this morning.
Incredible.
99% they managed to shoot down. In fact, that's the reason the US is saying, hey, this wasn't that devastating in the end. It was scary and it was spectacular, but let's keep calm because nothing major actually came of this attack.
No.
So there'll be more on that today. We're off to the US shortly. Speaking of big news stories that are reaching a culmination, today former Liberal staffer Bruce Lehrman will find out the result of his defamation case against Network 10 and Lisa Wilkinson. Federal Court Judge Michael Lee will hand down his decision in the civil case. It's heard 5 weeks of evidence regarding the alleged rape of Brittany Higgins in Parliament House in 2019. So that sordid tale will come to an end, at least from the media's element, which has probably been, frankly, the worst element of it. For today.
I got a bit. People are going to get the wrong or maybe right impression about me, sort of being someone who works in the media and spends his time not watching or reading anything. But I checked out of that story months ago. I just thought, oh my God, this is just such a cesspit.
Yeah.
And I reckon most of our listeners, I don't think that people, and I had to remind myself the other day, who's actually suing who and for what?
Yeah, I had the same thing.
In this case.
You know what the problem with this is? I think there's different stages people checked out. There was the initial story that I think everyone was interested in because it was a crime story.
Yeah.
It was about a young person working in politics and another young person working in politics. So then people were kind of interested. I think a lot of people dropped out when it started feeling political.
Oh,
Once it started, the Liberal and Labor Party started slinging at each other about it. A few people went, I'm out. I think just about everyone got out at the point of time the media organisations started slinging at each other about it.
Oh, yeah. Hasn't that been talking about Sydney being different from Adelaide?
Oh.
I reckon if you and Tom Wren worked in Sydney, you wouldn't be sitting in the same studio having a friendly conversation at the moment.
Probably not.
Over there, it's gloves off between 7 and 9.
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy.
That's all right. No gloves required here. Rennie and I, we set our differences bare knuckle.
That's right. In the octagon.
Exactly right. Gentlemen, 10.4 degrees outside in the city at the moment. Top of 23 is expected today. Tomorrow, 23. Wednesday will be 22 as a top. 21 on Thursday, 21 Friday, 21 Saturday. So some consistency there. 22 on Sunday. The notable feature of the forecast, Saturday and Sunday, just entirely sunny. So they're going to be beautiful days, even if they're not particularly warmer than what we've been experiencing thus far. The UV index today is 5, which is considered moderate, but as we know, when the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection, stay sun smart, and download the Sun Smart app. Tom Wren, with what little voice he's got remaining, is with us in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. He experienced the 2024 new gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Yeah, forgive me, boys. Nearly gave out over the weekend and just barely holding on. So a couple of cracking games, weren't they? Let's start with winners and losers. Will, you called the first one, did it magnificently. What a game. The Crows, finally, against all odds, really. You know, they're playing against a side who love, the dry track at Marvel Stadium, undefeated, full of confidence, and they got it done. So Sam Berry, that late goal, they played the kids in the midfield, they gave them a bit of a crack, and look what happened. It was exciting. So well done to Adelaide.
Matthew Nix did what every fan has been desperate for him to do for the last year, and it was great to watch. Isaac Rankin and Jake Saligo being at more centre bounces than Jordan Dawson, the captain, Matt Crouch, and Rory Laird was, frankly, an unbelievable risk for him to take, going away to an undefeated side.
Yep.
But he did it, and they look like a different team. It was just so exciting to watch. Like, if that's who Isaac Rankin is playing as an on-baller, that changes everything.
Yeah,
it was such good football. Like it was, to your point about the matchups, I was watching it thinking, that's funny, Rankin's there, and I was thinking, this is what Will's been talking about for months.
Yeah.
But just electric.
It was great. It was like that football they played last year.
Carlton? They're our bunnies.
Yeah,
mentally fragile.
Well, it was
the two things the Crows are famous for not being able to do: A, win on the road; B, win the close ones. Well, stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Exactly. So we'll see whether or not they can build a bit of momentum off that. They've got Essendon this week, and then North Melbourne away. There's no reason they can't and shouldn't win both of those games. So that then puts them into the showdown potentially with 3 wins on the bounce. Different complexion to the season totally. Of course, there'll be ups and downs if you do play those kids, but it's pretty exciting. Give them a go. Port Adelaide equally. I mean, when Brayshaw kicked that goal, I reckon, with 5 minutes to go.
I heard Timmy say, well, that was it. He's kicked the winning goal.
He said kick, and he banged the desk, I reckon, pretty hard as well, Timmy. So the game was done. Yeah. And Charlie Dixon, who'd had an average night, he was well beaten by Pearce because Treader's called it beautifully. The one thing that Dixon does really well is outbody opponents. You can't do that with Pearce. He's probably the strongest key defender in the competition. So he just didn't have another gear to go to. But then, with 4 minutes to go, he takes this towering mark from nowhere. And then Jason Horne-Francis, he's built for the big moments. That's why he's going to be one of the best players in the competition for the next decade. He is unbelievable, Jason Horne-Francis. Again, not his best night, but he won them the game. Huge win for Port. Got to win those games if you're going to challenge for top 4 at home. Can't help but feel a bit sorry for Freo. 2 weeks in a row, they've lost right at the death. They're a good side.
They are good.
They're really well coached. They're a disciplined side. They lack a good key forward still. Amos is going to be good. But anyway, Port, great win. Collingwood this week, huge task away, but they're in it now. 4-1. Feels like they're one of the early contenders at least. So Crows and Port, big winners. Matt Crouch, feel a bit sorry for him. That's just the rules though now, isn't it? Gets suspended for a week.
Has he already been suspended?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be heard Tuesday. Oh no, because Saturday games to do it the day after now.
He's been off for the week, so 10 years ago you don't even look at it.
Rough, isn't it?
But
no one was hurt.
No one was hurt. Now it's the
I thought it was an
potential to
excellent
cause
bit of
injury.
play by him.
Yeah.
Like real desperate
Both
stuff.
players turned their body. Yeah, that's footy, isn't it?
It's footy now. So Matt Crouch, unfortunately, a loser out of the weekend. The T-Birds, first up win to start the season, so that was good just by the one goal. Stefanos Tsitsipas, he has won the Monte Carlo Masters. Other losers, Adelaide United, their season's done after that loss on Friday night.
They're going to be delighted there was two close games of footy to talk about this weekend because that was a disgrace. MacArthur down to 10 men. They're up 1-0, party time, and they conceded twice late.
Terrible.
That was embarrassing.
It was a bad result, really bad result. Arsenal and Liverpool also overnight, shocking results for them. It means Manchester City's 2 points clear. They both lost at home to sides you would have thought they'd beat, so terrible results. And we'll wait to see who wins the US Masters, but it looks like Scotty Scheffler, the world number one, is going to do it. He's getting to Tiger-like sort of status if he can hold on, but it is tight heading into the back nine. There's a couple of names chasing him. We'll wait and see what happens.
All right, good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys. Good stuff.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny, 23 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Lucy Loken.
Every body is unique. Let the Physio Extra team take care of your specific needs. PhysioExtra.com.
Westfield Bondi Junction will remain closed today as police return to the site. Hundreds of floral tributes are lining the shopping centre. 6 people were tragically killed in the stabbing rampage on Saturday afternoon. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has told 60 Minutes the violent nature of that attack goes totally against the Australian ethos.
I don't think any Australian started their day thinking that they'd be confronted with such an atrocity, because we do regard ourselves as a nation that is enriched by our harmony.
Flags across Australia will be flown at half-mast today to honour the 6 victims. The formal request has been made to government departments and agencies, with the Prime Minister welcoming other organisations to also join. And the sale of the Sydney Opera House will be lit with a black ribbon tonight. To other news locally, crews are currently responding to a fire in the residential vicinity behind the Old Adelaide Jail, with MFS alerts coming through around 5 a.m. More information still to come. A man's been arrested, charged with the murder of William Holdback. The 21-year-old died on Barpal Street around 1:30 a.m. last Wednesday after reportedly meeting with 2 men who arrived in a BMW. It's believed Mr Holdback was chased by the pair following an argument and then fatally stabbed. A 27-year-old was tracked to a northern suburbs home on Saturday and arrested, with the car also seized from the same address. He's been refused bail and will appear in court today. Some of the food industry's largest players could soon have to face an inquiry into supermarket prices. Alexander Nimmo has more.
Nestle, Coca-Cola, Mars and PepsiCo are the latest brands to be hauled before the Senate inquiry. The brands have been accused of setting prices of some household items and leaving Coles and Woolworths with no choice but to adopt the price increases. The Australian Retailers Association wants the inquiry to examine the transparency of the supply chain as well as ethical sourcing and conduct.
Pro-Palestinian protesters have taken to the streets of London. They're calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. It's one of many demonstrations taking place around the world. Police officers and specialist teams are being deployed across Australia, where demonstrators are planning on blockading ports, train stations and city streets. And Adelaide Airport is set to introduce valet parking in a new outdoor car park. Travellers will be able to drop off their vehicles outside of the southern doors of the terminal and give their keys to a valet attendant. It's part of a $1 billion investment, and the service will store up to 270 vehicles in a secure area. It'll be available within airport curfew hours, 365 days a year. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Lucy. Injuries and a heavy travel schedule have taken their toll on Richmond, beaten by 39 points by West Coast. Coach Adam Uze says their 10-day break before their next match is definitely needed.
The second half, we looked tired. Our third quarter, that's not us. Tony get 3 or 4 inside 50s. And we just, the dam wall looked like it was going to break there for a little while, but we did look tired.
There was one game to wrap up round 5 with Geelong 75-point winners against North Melbourne. The Crows and Port, meantime, will have light days today after both clubs recorded thrilling wins on the weekend. Let's get to golf, and it's starting to tighten up as players head into the back 9 of the Masters at Augusta. World number 1 Scotty Scheffler is the man to catch at 9 under off the back of 3 straight birdies, while Max Homa and Ludwig Aber are only 2 shots behind. Cam Smith is the best of the Aussies. He's 7 shots back. Well, a disastrous night for a couple of the EPL title contenders, with Liverpool losing 1-0 at home against Crystal Palace. And it didn't get any better for Arsenal after they also lost 2-0 at home to Aston Villa. The result sealed in the 87th minute.
It's Ollie Watkins. It is 2. It's unravelling so quickly.
That audio thanks to Optus. Those results mean Manchester City sits 2 points clear at the top. There's only 6 games to play. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tommy. Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
23 and mostly sunny today and tomorrow. 22 partly cloudy on Wednesday. 21 partly cloudy on Thursday and Friday. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Twenty-four to 7 coming up this half hour. We'll be crossing to the US. Tim Lester's going to bring us up to speed with the US role in playing mediator, trying to make sure the escalating tensions between Iran and Israel that spilled over into a full-blown missile attack originating from Iranian territory over the weekend doesn't spiral into a full-blown war. We'll have more on that subject for you in about 20 minutes' time. Some good news this morning for South Australia, the defence industry and jobs creation. You're going to hear more about this one over the course of the day. A new Royal Australian Air Force defence contract valued at some $140 million signed by the federal government to upgrade the Royal Australian Air Force's fleet of P-8A Poseidon aircraft. These are the big maritime patrol aircraft. You might have seen them. Has been announced, and it's going to happen here in Adelaide. It's going to create 50 new jobs on top of an existing workforce of 283 that are employed by Boeing Defence at Edinburgh.
That's a good story
here in South Australia. So it is good. And these defence contracts, they do feel like they populate in clusters. And yes, there's no relationship between Boeing's aircraft and nuclear submarines, but it does feel like it's the opportunity is you can remove some redundancies by doing all these things in the same place.
Yeah, totally.
They're all happening here in Adelaide. It's just where defence
the more the merrier.
Exactly right. We did report in the first half hour on a fire at the old Adelaide jail, the details of which were a bit sketchy. It sounds like it might have actually been in a house behind the jail. Jasmine Turlings for Channel 7 is at the scene. Jazz, what have you been able to determine?
Well, good morning, Will. We've just arrived on scene, and it appears to be, this isn't confirmed yet, but it appears to be the caretaker's house for this area. Unfortunately, the house is completely gutted. The fire broke out around 5 a.m. this morning, and there are some neighbouring properties that were evacuated as a precaution. So it looks like one house, or the fire has been contained to one house, but it has, as I just said, been extensively damaged. Now, sadly, the resident of this house, an 83-year-old man, sustained some injuries in this fire, but he was taken to the Royal Adelaide by ambulance, and his injuries aren't believed to be life-threatening at this stage. Now, this is really close to the old Adelaide jail, and crews on scene here said they had actually quite a difficult task to try and track down where this blaze was actually coming from. I'm not sure if you guys are aware that there's just a couple of houses out the back of the old Adelaide jail here. But good news, no reports of any smoke affecting the horses or dogs at the Theberton Police Barracks, which are right next door here.
I've got to say, Jasmine, until this fire broke out this morning, I had no idea that anybody lived there. I just assumed it was part of the parklands, and that, you know, the only thing that was there was like the police museum, the jail, the barracks. But this is it's actually listed as the suburb of Theberton too.
I didn't know it existed. Thank you, Jazz, for that. Jasmine Turlings for Channel 7. You'll see the pictures on the news tonight. I think that's a historic home, that caretaker's house. It's significant. It looks.
Well, it must have been part of the jail originally.
Well, I only know this because we walked through there a couple of weeks ago. That whole area, and where those couple of houses are, and you can get into the park.
It's where all the olive trees are, isn't it?
It's where all the olive trees are, and the horses are behind. You walk along a bike path, and you can go
it curves around.
You can curve onto the Torrens and past the front of the city, effectively.
And if you go the other way, you end up in the Learn to Drive bit.
That's literally the walk we did, and walk past this house that I think's been. That sounds like it's been burnt down, but my memory of it was it's quite a lovely old home. I wonder, hopefully that's not the one that's gone, because that would be lots of buildings through there of historic significance. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. It is difficult to get into. I noticed the firemen and the fire engines were on, effectively, they didn't come through off that near where the Royal Adelaide is. They came off the side through the parklands where the Coke factory is. So it was a little tricky sort of one to get to, but sounds like it's under control now. Shall we get into some Dutton's text for the first time this morning?
Quite a lot about Sydney, unsurprisingly, and talking about the mental health aspect. This one from Julie is interesting. I was a mental health specialist when deinstitutionalise itis, which is letting people self-manage in the community, was deemed the way to go to allow the mentally ill to feel less stigmatised by being among us and to be treated at our hospitals in the same way you would for physical problems. Well, it's not working in these extreme cases, as people like this are not monitored and are out among the rest of the population. One here about just the overbearing nature of this story, or the overwhelming nature of this story, and trying to make sure your kids don't get exposed to it, which is easier said than done. One here, I agree with you, Dave. I'm trying to block the news from the kids, but it's hard. The hardest part is the news breaks that pop up in the middle of the shows. As a result, last night we were watching I'm a Celebrity, but we muted it every time the commercials came on and asked the kids to go out or read. One here, the hard part about mental health is getting people help. I have a family member who has schizophrenia, and we can't get help as he denies that he has it and thinks that he's okay. So what do you do? And Rob says Sydney's the result of decades of mental health mismanagement by successive governments, cutting help to mental health, with sufferers having no bricks and mortar places to go to but left to their own devices in the community at large. And one here, we need places like Hillcrest. It's sad, but we do actually need some people locked up for their own good and everybody else's. Thanks for that, folks.
Keep the text coming in, 0480 1395. Dutton's Volkswagen, less than 18 minutes up the freeway in Mount Barker. They're Dutton's, and they are easy to do business with. I wonder, we've had so many trials on this now, and we got used to it a little bit during COVID. That doesn't feel necessarily new, but it is pretty remarkable that as of today, Australia Post posties only visit every second day to deliver the letter mail. Have a listen to Gail Watson's report.
The cost to post a letter already went up 30 cents earlier this month, with a basic postage stamp now costing $1.50. Now the delivery service is being wound back, with Australia Post to deliver letters only every second day. It means a letter sent from one suburb to another will take 3 to 4 business days to arrive. In the country, 4 to 5 days to go from one country location to another. Between states, letter delivery could take up to 6 business days. Australia Post continuing to shift its focus to e-commerce and packages as the number of letters being posted continues to decline.
6 days between states. It's hard to wrap your head around, isn't it?
You know, the only thing I post is my BAS. But even now I've stopped doing that because I worked out.
Can you do it online?
Yeah, you can do it online.
I wonder, just the open question to any of our listeners this morning, do the changes affect anyone listening? Anyone? Do they inconvenience you in any way? Will they change your life?
You always sort of think letters, always had it in my head, probably because it was true, that if you posted a letter early on a Monday, it would get anywhere in the country the next day.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it'll get there the next week.
Which is of itself an argument for getting rid of the post, isn't it? And you think, well, hang on.
Well, the letter post.
Yeah, letter post.
The parcel post is going great guns at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyone listening this morning, is it going to change your life in any way? We're interested in hearing from our listeners on this. 8223 or text us on that Dutton's text line. 15 minutes to 7. We're going to check traffic for the first time this morning. We'll come back with police and weather in just a moment.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads are looking really good for a back-to-work Monday. No great hassles, which is excellent. You'll find some works at Dry Creek to look out for. That's road plates there. Churchill Road near Cormac Road. Bit slow at O'Halloran Hill on the Southern Expressway in Majors Road. That's for the Southern Expressway widening. Speeds at 80. Getting busy South Road at Fiverton, and got a camera Education Road at Happy Valley. Dive into paradise with Lux Maldives deals at Flight Centre. Save on a 5-star 7-night stay from just $4,399 for two. Hurry, book now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Mate, it was so easy. Drop the car into Automasters. Next thing, I get a video on my phone.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
The service advisor is there live doing a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
He shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
Are you thinking about a sea change? Where you can walk to the beach and be part of a close community? Think Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. You can live in a brand new low-maintenance home with all facilities close by. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land, ready to build. Move in now or invest for the future. Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. Come down for a drive and look through our display village and see why Stage 1 is nearly sold out. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
When you're experiencing an injury or a health emergency, every minute counts. And if your emergency can't wait, well, neither should you.
Calvary has been caring for South Australians since 1900, including at South Australia's newest hospital, Calvary Adelaide, home to the state's only 24-hour private emergency department.
When you need fast expert treatment, they're there. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with shorter wait times, personalised attention from experienced specialists and nurses, and comfortable state-of-the-art facilities.
As a privately owned, non-government funded emergency department, an out-of-pocket fee means you're getting the highest level of care. When you or a loved one needs emergency care, trust in the emergency department at Calvary Adelaide, 120 Angus Street, Adelaide.
Don't look now. Here comes Rockin' Rose.
Jan, you're awful. You know she has sore feet. You sure that's her?
Yes, but look at her go. Hi, Rose. You look different. New hair.
New shoes from Gilmore's. My feet feel great and I'm just walking so much better. Maybe not Rockin' Rose anymore, hey?
Maybe we should call you Runnin' Rose.
I think you'll need to keep up first. See you later.
Jan, I think we should go to Gilmore's.
Bob, I think you're right. Let's go now.
Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
I booked the car into Automasters. Next thing, there's a video on my phone.
Shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam, new from Automasters.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
12 minutes to 7. Let's check in with the Weather Bureau about the week ahead. Hannah Marsh is on duty this morning. Hannah, good morning to you.
Good morning, David and Will.
Beautiful looking week, Hannah. Still no rain around though.
Yeah, pretty stable conditions at the moment. It's been quite a cool start with a minimum of 9 degrees. We're currently sitting on 10.3, heading from mostly sunny 23 degrees. As I mentioned, pretty stable conditions, really hovering around that 22 to 23 degree mark for much of the week. A bit of cloud increasing, but like you said, not expecting any showers in the outlook period.
Beautiful stuff, Hannah. Thank you. Hannah Marsh there from the Bureau of Meteorology.
Oh, let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Matt Brown's on the line. Matt, we heard that excellent news in our update at 6:15 this morning that a suspect's been arrested in the Welland murder case.
That's right, Will. Just to refresh everyone's memory from the events of last week, it'll be alleged at about 1:30 a.m. on Wednesday the 10th of April, police and emergency services were called to Bar Powell Street at Welland after reports that a man was found unresponsive on the roadway. Now, witnesses attempted to render assistance to the man, but sadly he died at the scene, and he's since been identified as 21-year-old Flinders Park man William Holdback. And shortly before his death, William had met with two occupants of a BMW sedan in Musgrave Street. A brief argument occurred and William fled into Bar Powell Street where he was fatally stabbed. And the driver of the vehicle drove the BMW into Bar Powell Street and collected the person who stabbed William, and they left the scene. And detectives believe the two suspects then travelled in the BMW north on South Road from Welland, then east along the Port River Expressway, along the full length of the Salisbury Highway and into John Rice Avenue. Now, there is a map on our SA Police News Facebook page which shows the vehicle's route, and police are appealing to anyone with dashcam footage who may have been travelling on those roads between 1:15am and 1:49am on Wednesday the 10th of April to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. So late on Saturday the 13th of April, detectives went to the suspect's northern suburbs home and arrested the 27-year-old man, charging him with murder. So he was refused bail and will appear in the Adelaide Magistrates Court today. And the BMW was also seized from the home, and the owner's been interviewed. He's also suspected of murder, but that person's role before, during and after the murder is now the subject of an intense and ongoing investigation by detectives who are continuing to compile evidence regarding that person's involvement.
Well, we were saying before, Matt, 5 days, not even, since this happened, so great work by SAPOL turning it around so fast. Also, what's the latest on this house fire at Jail Road in Theberton?
That's right, David. Well, emergency services have responded to a house fire at Theberton this morning near the old Adelaide Jail. Now, police, fire crews and paramedics have been called to the house on Jail Road, Theberton, at 5am today after reports of a fire in the house there. And neighbouring properties were evacuated as a precaution, but the fire's been contained to the one premises, which is fully engulfed and sustained extensive damage. Now, the occupant, an 83-year-old man, was able to evacuate, but did suffer injuries. He has been taken to the nearby RAH, and his injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. No police dogs or horses at the Theberton Police Barracks have been affected by the fire or smoke, and fire investigators will attend the scene this morning to try and determine the cause of the fire.
Good stuff, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Senior Constable Matt Brown from SAPOL. 9 to 7. Let's head off to the US. Tim Lester's in the 7 News Bureau. He's been covering the fallout from Iran's strikes on Israel, originating from Iranian soil over the weekend, that threatened to push the situation in the Middle East into a wider and, albeit many magnitudes, scarier story. Tim, good morning to you. What's the US response been to the some 300 missiles and drones that were launched from Iran?
Well, a couple of fold. I think one is to applaud the fact that Israel's defence systems, but also backed up by US defence systems and the fighter aircraft from four allies, Israel, the US, France and Britain, that we know about, managed between them to take down about 99% of, we think, 350 cruise and ballistic missiles and explosive-laden drones that were showered on Israel in a couple of hours. A quite extraordinary assault, absolutely unprecedented in the sense that Iran has never chosen to fire from its considerable missile arsenal in its own country, on its own land, to Israel. So this is a first in that sense. So the US applauding the fact that there was a successful blocking mission carried out by allies, but also, I think, trying to calm the government of Benjamin Netanyahu, because the risk here is, as they see it, that Netanyahu's response will ratchet up, a tit-for-tat response will ratchet up the Middle East into a war that goes who knows where.
Well, the who knows where part of it doesn't even bear thinking about, does it, Tim? And so you've got the IDF tied up in Gaza at the moment, big time. Surely Netanyahu's not countenancing a war with, a genuine Islamic superpower in Iran. I mean, the consequences of that could be vast throughout the region.
Well, you'd think so. But it is very sobering to listen to some of the right-wing commentators in this country, in the US. I'm in DC at the moment, and there's been a fair bit of discussion today from the hawks, if you like, let alone the hawks in Israel, some of whom we know have a fair deal of influence on the right-wing government of Benjamin Netanyahu, who insist that there has to be a marked military response to what Iran's done. That Iran has to be hit and hurt to know not to do it again. So there is considerable pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu to be seen as tough in his response. So I don't think his response is known at all, yet we certainly know the White House here is trying to calm this as desperately as it can, but I'm not sure it knows yet whether it's succeeded.
Yeah, pretty complex and grim scenario. Tim Lester there for 7 years in the US Bureau.
To that point that Tim was making about hawks within the Israeli government, the Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz said that Israel will exact a price for Iran's attack when the timing is right. So it's not preaching calm.
Hey, big thanks to Reno in Torrensville. Hope you're listening, mate. Reno dropped off a box of chestnuts off his family chestnut tree for me.
Did you get some chestnut gloves? Because you were having
Did you see those things?
You were stabbing yourself trying to pick them up.
It's like how to prepare an echidna. Like, they're totally covered in this spiky sort of casing. But no, I just got some leather gloves that I'd use for some stuff with chemicals at home. Well, they'll do. Got the casings off. It was a good mindless activity.
Nice.
Took about 3 hours to make the stuffing for the chicken, but it was well worth it because it tasted excellent, and I've got enough left over to make a cake.
Good on you, Reno. All right, let's take some calls. 8223 is the number. Helen in Glanville, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I don't have a computer, so I use postage a lot. And naturally, I'm a bit upset that the stamps have gone up, being a pensioner, but and also the delivery, that doesn't worry me so much, but the stamps going up, and as long as we get a lot of letters delivered, and we post a lot of letters. And can I tell you a quick story about the TV?
Sure, absolutely, Helen.
On?
Of course you have.
Yeah, well, you know, yesterday we could only get one story wherever you went, and I found last night the talk back it started the same, and when we got to midnight and it came Australia overnight, I thought, oh, thank goodness. And they started too, so I changed, and I went through all the radio stations, and I found one that wasn't talking about it. But their subject was, please ring in and tell us what songs bring tears to your eyes.
Yeah, you just wanted someone to put a smile on your face, Helen.
That's beautiful.
That is funny, isn't it?
Good on you, Helen.
Thank you, Helen.
When there is a story like that and you want to tap out, it can be hard to it can be hard to find places to go. Thank you. Let's go to Mile End. Gary, good morning.
Good morning. Talking about mental health, my mum's got a schizophrenia person living across the road, and she's got cameras zoomed into my mum's house, and she's beginning to be a neighbour from hell. But it's not really her fault, really, but, you know, it can be troubling if they're out in public and starting a big argument. So, yeah, I feel sorry for the poor thing, but, yeah.
Yeah, good on you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Text along those lines too from Mary Ann saying it was Mike Rand who began the mental health erosion in Adelaide when the Labor government sold off the excellent Glenside Hospital and mental health facilities. Unsupervised patients were forced into boarding houses or onto the streets. A lot of people would agree with that, Mary Ann. Speaking of Helen before about lack of technology, how's this? So Saturday night we're watching the Crows. We're at Aldinga. We've only got free-to-air, and we've got no internet down there, and deliberately so, because the idea is, you know, I don't want the kids saying, oh, my Wi-Fi's not working. It's like, well, good, let's play Yahtzee, you know. Let's go and walk on the beach and do something different. But anyway, so we've got free-to-air, and we don't have a radio either. There was also a problem with our portable internet, whatever. So my phone wasn't working properly. So it's three-quarter time, all tied up in the game. We're thinking, surely not. You know, can the Crows do it? And then, during the 7 commentary, they say, and we leave you now for the news, but if you want to continue watching, the final quarter will be on 7 Mate.
7 Mate, yeah.
So I got the remote thinking, oh, where's 7 Mate? I'm going, hang on. I said to Kate, have we got 7 Mate? She's going, we should. And then she goes, no, Jim said, no, it's not here. Because this happened to him.
Is this only you've only got the old analog antenna signal, have you? You're not watching in high def.
Mate, I got a TV I bought from Better Electrical in McLaren Vale for $179. It can barely do anything. And we were lucky it's in colour. It's the world's cheapest TV. So we couldn't watch it. Then I was trying to get the AFL app to work. Nothing. In the end, I rang Jim, who was with my ex-wife at her place, and I said to them both, can you put us on speaker and just commentate? I couldn't get you to work. And then we only thought afterwards, Kate said, you know what we should have done? Just gone downstairs and sat in the car and listened to Double A.
Yeah.
Should have done that.
Yeah.
But we listened to the final 10 minutes of the game on a phone call.
Well, that is fantastic. All you missed out on was Wayne Miller Jr.'s sterling radio debut.
Wow, that
Junior was
that
unbelievable.
highlights package, that's going to become cult listening. It's is it a little bit edgy?
I think there may have been a moment where someone's exuberance was demonstrated in 4-letter form.
He had a touch of the Duncan Fosdykes.
Yeah, a little bit of.
Remember that was Mark Aston interviewing Duncan Fosdyke after that Norman Premiership.
Yeah, had a little bit about it. All right, 5AA News is coming up. We'll take you through our morning wrap, and we're off to Sydney too next.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny, 23 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Lucy Loken.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
There's a heavy police presence around the entrances at Westfield Bondi Junction, which will remain shut today in the wake of the tragic Sydney stabbing rampage on Saturday. Police have been studying security camera vision, which shows Joel Couchy running past men and appearing to only target women. Of the 6 killed, there was only one man. He was a security guard who ran towards the carnage. The mass stabbing has sparked even more of a push for blood donations. Supplies have been drained, used to treat 12 people also hospitalised after the attack, 4 of whom have now been released. Australian Red Cross Lifeblood Logistics Director Sam Brown says OH negative blood is in particularly high demand after the weekend's events.
That's the universal blood type that can be safely given to any patient before their blood type is known, but the need for blood and blood donors is it's always there, and we do need blood of all types.
A house on Jail Road, Theberton, went up in flames early this morning. Neighbouring properties were evacuated as a precaution. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the home has been extensively damaged.
The occupant, an 83-year-old man, was able to evacuate but did suffer injuries. He has been taken to the nearby RAH and his injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. And fire investigators will intend the scene this morning to try and determine the cause of the fire.
No police dogs or horses at the Theberton Police Barracks were affected by the fire or smoke. Today marks the 25th anniversary of support for research into dementia. Over the past 25 years, Dementia Australia Research Foundation has given $31 million in funding to 380 game-changing research projects. More than 400,000 Australians live with the cognitive disease. Chairman Graham Samuel says it would be a very different research landscape without the work of that organisation.
That are able to give those with dementia or those who are worried about it some hope for the future. We now know how to diagnose the potential for dementia, potentially 20 years ahead of symptoms setting in.
And there's been an earthquake near New Britain region, Papua New Guinea. It measured a magnitude of 6.5. The Bureau of Meteorology here, though, says there is no tsunami threat to Australia. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Lucy. Let's start with golf. World number 1 Scotty Scheffler is firming as the man to beat in the final round of the Masters at Augusta with half a dozen holes to play. He's currently 8 under as he tries to negotiate the tricky par 3 12th hole, while Max Homa has just made a double bogey on that very same hole to slip back to 5 under, putting him in a tie for second, equal second with Ludwig Aber. Let's go to football. Adelaide's players will train this morning as they look ahead to Friday night's blockbuster game against Essendon at home. The Crows will hope to capitalise on their first win of the season against Carlton. Port Adelaide will also have a light training run this afternoon and are a chance to regain Travis Boak for their match against Collingwood on Saturday. Still on footy, and Geelong coach Chris Scott has confirmed Patrick Dangerfield and Tom Hawkins will be available for next week's game against Brisbane.
We've got a plan with Tom that's subject to change week to week. The good news is that he was available to play this week. We think he'll be better for next week for missing, and Dangerfield really was available this week as well, and College Asney the same, so they understand what we're trying to do, and as far as I can tell, they're really supportive of it.
The Cats maintaining their perfect record yesterday with a 75-point thumping of North Melbourne. West Coast, meantime, notched up its first win of the season, beating Richmond by 39 points. Briefly elsewhere, Stefanos Tsitsipas has taken out the Monte Carlo Masters after beating Casper Ruud 6-1, 6-4. That's his 11th career title. And two big games in the English Premier League overnight, and big upsets as well. Liverpool losing 1-0 at home to Crystal Palace, while Arsenal also lost 2-0 at home to Aston Villa. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tommy. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Good morning there. Roads are looking pretty good for the driving on a Monday, which is nice. Do have works to keep in mind. You'll find them at Dry Creek today. Road plates in use there. Churchill Road near Cormac Road, speeds at 40. Bit sluggish, Halloran Hill on the Southern Expressway near Majors Road. That's due to road widening, speeds at 80. And we've got cameras this morning at Adelphi Tourist Glenelg North and Sheriff's Road at Ranella. Join almost 4 million members with Bupa, CanStar's outstanding value health insurance for 2023 and Feel Good Health Catch-On. Switch today. Search Bupa Health Insurance. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
23 mostly sunny today and tomorrow. 22 partly cloudy on Wednesday. 21 partly cloudy on Thursday. Right now it's 10.4 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
When you're a market-leading builder like Regent Homes, you never rest on your laurels. It's why Regent Homes is South Australia's only builder offering 3D virtual reality technology in their Envision Design Studio. At your first design meeting, you'll walk through your home in virtual reality. It's a wow moment, enriching your experience so you can make the right design choices from the start. Regent Homes. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
When you said this getaway was going to be intense,
Yeah.
I didn't think you meant intense.
Surprise! That could be a problem.
Take that tense feeling out of camping with an AusTrack camper.
Having access to reliable healthcare services gives us all peace of mind. Too many South Australians living hundreds of kilometres from Adelaide have a local hospital that doesn't have enough nurses or midwives. Frightening? Without state government action, we won't have the nurses and midwives needed to keep our regional hospitals running. Support those who care for us at regionalincentives.com.au. Authorised by EDBAR's ANMF SA Branch Ridleyton.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7:07, good morning to you if you're joining us for the first time on this Monday, the 15th of April. The sun is up. Beautiful week ahead, it's got to be said. Some really nice sunny days, headlined by the weekend, where the temperature doesn't necessarily peak to any great heights, but we get some real clear skies and a beautiful weekend ahead. Over the course of this morning, big morning, of course, in local news, but we're going to spend a little bit of time too focusing on the fallout of the tragic events of Bondi Junction in Sydney as well. We do have an update this morning on some of those people that were in hospital. So much has been spoken about the identity of the 6 people that have lost their lives, but little has been spoken about the 11 that have remained in hospital as of this morning. Just getting some news through about some of those that is sounding quite promising. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, we head to Sydney to chat with the Mayor of Waverley Council, Paula Marcellos. Mayor, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, with a heavy heart, Mayor, that we even discussed this. We just want to extend our sympathies to the people of Sydney that are in the thick of this, and obviously it's Sydney's a big world city, a national city. There's links to South Australia with some of these families as well. But can you just give us a sense of now, heading towards 2 days on, does it feel any more real? It's just hard to comprehend, isn't it?
Look, I think people are starting to feel the range of feelings. First of all, it was shock, incredible disbelief. Yesterday in particular, I was down in the mall from 6 in the morning trying to actually make sense of what had happened. It was so senseless, especially since we'd heard that the perpetrator was suffering severe mental health issues. Thank goodness it wasn't someone who was doing it on the basis of any kind of ideology, but that and that, you know, basically the threat has now been dissipated, but there's still this incredible sense of disbelief. But some people are now becoming angry. You know, there's grief is actually starting. We're seeing lots of people coming into the Bondi Junction Mall to lay floral tributes, to light candles, and there is now the commencement of the outpouring of grief. From a council point of view, we're looking to see what we're going to be able to do to support our community, get through this. We'll be looking at working with some of the other MPs there in the area to have some form of vigil so that there is some sort of physical thing that people can attend to help with their grief and their mourning.
Mm. So what happens today at Westfield there? Is it open business as usual in a sense, or is that what they're trying to do? Or are the shops going to be open? I mean, it must be so hard for staff working there to just return there and open up. Like you hear that roll call of businesses. It's so relatable, you know, like the Body Shop, Chanel, like all these places that populate most malls. How hard is it going to be for things to return to normal there?
Look, I think it's going to take some time, and I was just reading a statement that Centre Group actually did release yesterday. In fact, one of their security people actually was one of the first responders, and he paid for it with his life.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there was another security team member who was injured, and he remains in hospital. So, you know, it is something that is being deeply felt right across the board, and I know that the Centre Group are looking to support their people with mental health and counselling services but not only for their staff, but for customers and business partners and people. The Department of Health, the state government, actually has counsellors available. They were sending teams into Bondi Junction Mall directly so people could have face-to-face counselling. Yesterday there were people there from the Salvation Army, Red Cross. One of the police rabbis was there as well. So in addition to people being encouraged to go to Lifeline or to Kids Helpline or the mental health line, there are all these other support things as well. So everyone who has been involved with this are rallying to try and support as many people as possible. So we're trying to get people back on living their lives, but I think that it will take some time.
Yeah, no, it certainly will. Well, all the very best in the coming days, Mayor, to your entire community that's in the thick of this. Paula Massalos, the Mayor of Waverley Council, which is the Big Eastern Suburbs Council centred around Bondi in Sydney. Thanks for that, Paula.
The update we've got on the people that were hospitalised, 3 more have been discharged from hospital overnight, which is terrific news. 8 continue to receive care following the stabbing attack. 5 died as a result of the injuries inside the Bondi Junction Westfield. A 6th victim, a 38-year-old mother. She died in hospital. Now, a lot of people are wondering about the 9-month-old baby, the baby girl that was attacked too. The New South Wales Health update on the baby is that she is in a serious but stable condition. Two women are serious but stable. There is one other person who's currently critical. So that's the latest from New South Wales Health. Nice that we're getting a little bit of good news, and hopefully those that are in hospital are being treated from here will make a full recovery. Flags around the country today are going to be flown at half-mast at the behest of the Prime Minister. Here is Anthony Albanese.
Who ran towards danger, who risked her own life to end the carnage and to take this perpetrator out. The other Australians, including the man with the bollard, he could have very easily retreated.
The Prime Minister paying tribute to some of the heroes of the day as well. Amy Scott was the police officer who ultimately killed the perpetrator, then rendered him assistance and CPR to try and save his life. The Premier of South Australia, Peter Malinauskas, has also reflected on the incidents of the weekend.
From the whole community in South Australia, I would like to pass on our sympathies to those that have lost their lives yesterday in Bondi Junction. Tragically, the toll of these events has hit home in South Australia, affecting the Flanagan family. I'd like to pass on my thoughts to them at this most horrific of times. I've had the fortune of knowing the Flanagan family over the years. They are beautiful people, good Australians who care about others. I went to school with Dan and Liam. They were a couple of years below me. I coached them in cricket. I know their parents. And it is incomprehensible that such a beautiful family has been so aggressively affected.
So much of the conversation this morning now has turned to how best to manage people with acute mental health disorders. That's the next logical stop. Mind you, it wasn't the next logical stop for people reporting online over the weekend. I think the entire cause of citizen journalism was done no great service over the weekend, where everyone picked their racial or religious origin of choice that had helped advance whatever argument they wanted to make. For a while, he was reported to be a young Jewish man who was responsible, who actually exists, by the way. The Times have got a piece about him this morning. Some poor bloke had his name attached to this, had absolutely nothing to do with it because he bore a slight resemblance to the guy. That was on one side. If a lot of people with, little Palestinian flags in their bios seem pretty excited about that. And then on the other side, a lot of other people on the right online were very quick to say this was a case of Islamic terror. It was just that was pretty sad reflection on the whole.
The great promise
social media
of when social media sort of kicked off and people were talking about the idea of citizen journalists. I mean, to anyone who witnesses something or sees something, they'll be able to report. Go straight to the people with their news. Well, they can. It's just not always true.
Mm-hmm.
And the danger too is that as it did over the weekend, it can feed if the mainstream press media is so desperate. I mean, there's the stupidity of it.
Yeah.
No one remembers if you're first with the news. Everyone remembers if you stuff it up, and that happened over the weekend. And the salutary tale from that is for the mainstream media to just cool your heels and do all your fact checking, because if you rely on social media, you'll get it wrong most of the time.
And isn't it a sad reflection too on it's not maybe it is a small portion of the community, but it is a small portion of the community that from at warp speed goes from, oh, that's so sad, to, oh, I wonder how this advances my political cause du jour.
Yeah, completely. I mean, you can understand why there was so much speculation that it was a form of terrorism at the start, though.
Yeah.
Because when a story like this breaks, you got two choices. It's either someone who's massively mentally unwell, or it's terrorism. And by terrorism, I mean it could be religious terrorism, Islamists, or it could be right-wing terrorism. It could be white supremacists, like Charlottesville, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, you can, and particularly given that Bondi is the epicentre of the Australian Jewish community. So at the start, it just felt like, oh no, please.
Yeah, it did.
And, but people what happened in Paris, Barcelona, the Christmas markets in Germany, like it's not without precedent.
But this is where I talk about story moving at warp speed, because the reason I thought it was confirmed that was the case, because as I went online to try and get more information, the conversation was already about Australian immigration law.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
So you've gone past the point of confirming the story to having a policy response to something that hasn't even happened.
Yeah.
Well, it's just
people are commenting about Israel, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was outrageous.
But like, why don't we let's just sit back and wait, let the cops do their job, and Amy Scott, my God, what a hero she is. But yeah, almost like this urge to get to the point where we can have a political argument about something.
Yeah,
while the siege is still underway.
Yeah, it's
extraordinary,
mind-boggling. 19 after 7. We're going to talk sport with Stephen Rowe after the break. I assume he's got some voice left. I don't know. Rowe sang, he was dancing, he was screaming. He said he started speaking in tongues at one point during the call. I'm looking forward to this. Stephen Rowe will join us. Huge week of local footy with the Crows and the Port getting up in thrillers. That's coming up next. Let's check traffic first.
Thanks, Will. Roads working well this morning. Accident and breakdown free. Always nice on a Monday. Simply some work to look out for. Your fun at Cowandilla today. Marion Road near Southern Rabbit Drive. Also at Pennington, Addison Road near Hodgman Road. And slow going for works at Richmond South Road near Deakin Avenue. Road plates in use at Dry Creek at the moment. Churchill Road near Cormac Road. Speeds at 40. And we've got cameras at Grant Road, Ranella. And Main South Road at Old Ranella. FYI, Super Cheap Auto can DIFY, do it for you. Save time and get your new bulbs, battery or wiper blades fitted in store. Make it Super Cheap Auto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Michael's called in from Banksia Park.
After yesterday, you were discussing law and order in South Australia. I went on the SA Police website and I looked at their statistics and I was quite horrified. Homicide and related issues, that's gone up 51%. Murder's gone up 69%.
Matthew Pantelis.
Aggravated robbery went up 19%. Who's responsible, Matthew?
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Mate, it was so easy. Drop the car into Automasters. Next thing, I get a video on my phone.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
The service advisor is there live doing a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
He shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam, the future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 AutoMasters.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. walco.com.au.
Now, are you living with diabetes? Well, ditch finger pricks with Freestyle Libre.
Freestyle Libre is a small wearable sensor that monitors your glucose levels and your trends and sends them straight to your phone.
Instant, up-to-date feedback, no finger pricks. How good is that? And you can trial Freestyle Libre for only $15. Just head to freestylelibre.com.au to find out how.
Yeah, this is incredible technology. Free yourself from finger pricks with Freestyle Libre. T's and C's apply. Follow directions for use. Read warnings before purchase.
Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture have the latest in office and education furniture all in one showroom. And the Keen staff love furniture. So whilst your colleagues talk politics at the water cooler, the Keen team discuss full office fit-outs and ergonomic chairs. Except last week when Jackie asked Shane if he used to ride a horse to school before the tram came into operation in 1929. Nice one, Jackie. Keen delivers and sets up furniture at schools and workplaces in Glenelg and all over SA. Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture. Leaders in office and education furniture.
Let's see what's in the swear jar at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. Here's one from Jasmine, the operations manager at Buy Urban and the driving force behind the success of all renovation projects. Jasmine swears to ensure all the trades arrive on time every time to ensure a seamless transition to your stunning Buy Urban bathroom. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
I've booked the car into Automasters. Next thing, there's a video on my phone.
Shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam, new from Automasters.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes after 7, Stephen Rowe is going to join us in just a moment. Make sure you tune into the sports show tonight. Him and Timmy G. I think they're going to have an emotion off to see who who's recovered from the weekend the best.
It must have been so much fun.
Both went through the full gamut of emotions, I can tell you.
Oh, you must have had the time of your life doing that, mate.
It was extraordinary. I pulled a muscle. I actually pulled a muscle in my stomach calling.
The really good thing, though, was the first Crows game that's been like all 4 quarters. Like there was no bad bit.
No, it was all entertaining.
The quality of the game was really high too.
Yeah.
Like as a neutral, you
know
were
what?
watching that game.
Cops a lot of crap, but I was watching thinking this is a good advertisement for Marvel Stadium, this game.
How do you mean?
It just invariably the games are quick. Perfect conditions.
Was the roof on?
The roof was on, yeah. It suited the Adelaide Football Club completely. Rowy's off. We can hear Rowy because we've got a link to him. He's off having a conversation in the background. This is a bit.
He's out in the park or something.
This is a bit like when when you're on a movie set and someone leaves their microphone on and they go to the bathroom and everyone can hear it. It's not quite like that because we've got him now.
Stephen Lowe on 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning! Marshall goes long up the line. Siren will sound. There it goes! It wasn't pretty, but boy, what a victory for the power! That can set up their season.
Walsh off hands. Walsh, he's been the man for Carlton. Inside 50. It's Keane! Crows win it! Keane wins it! Crows win! We're back!
Rowie, have you recovered yet?
Oh, sorry, I was off to the little boys' room. Pembo and Will, the Crows, well, they're back. I've called a few false alarms, Will, haven't I, for the 2023 model Crows.
False dawns, Rowie.
Yeah, not false dawns or fool's gold, but Mark 2, I think it's back. They've found whatever it was they were looking for. Not a bad song, that one, by the way. And now I know this won't be popular, but I really don't care. I've been as low as a snake's belly for a month with our first 4 weeks. We'll just hit it. I don't even care.
I don't even have it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just give it one squirt for me, for old time's sake.
What, you mean?
Oh.
No.
Yeah!
No. Oh, well, it was a good one win.
I was going to say, that's us stuff then.
Look, honestly, they rejigged the midfield. The coaches had a bloody good preparation 9-day week and a good game day. There's no question. Give credit where it's due. They got that talent through the midfield, which they're trying to rotate, and it is delicate with Rochelle and Rankin. They got some drive from Nankervis, his first half off the wing. Key's got that run and creativity back. Tex one-on-one unstoppable. Keen. We know all of that. When the Crows, this is the key stats, and Scotty Camporeale looks at it with a fine-tooth comb. When they have more than 10 marks inside 50 and kick 100 points, they win 100% of their games. So thank goodness for that. They'll get their confidence back, a spring in their step. Who have they got? The Bombers at home, but they'll have to do that without Matt Crouch. Now, 1 week for that. Are we happy with that?
No, but it's just what it is these days, isn't it? It just stuns me that it was an incident in which no one got hurt. I mean, that feels weird.
You're always taught to go low and hard. Yes, he did. You're taught to protect yourself, which he did. Turned his body. You're taught to keep your eye on the ball, which he did. He actually hit the bloke in the head because he didn't go in low and hard. If he had, it wouldn't have been Matt Crouch out. He gets a game for that. I call that a footy fabric breaker. Bit similar to the Zach Butters one, but look, he got let off. And just on Port, really good teams find ways to win, and I think the coaches will be real happy with that, and that's what Port are. They're a good team. They found a way to win against Freo. Freo will be in the top 8. God, I like how they play. That midfield is outstanding. Another 4 points in the tin tank. They're absolutely flying. What have they got? Collingwood at the MCG Saturday. But you know what? The fish jumped in the boat yesterday. There's blue sky. There's sun. The kids were smiling. I had a far better weekend with 4 points. And my wife says, Stephen, it shouldn't mean that much to you. And I say, no, Jodie, it doesn't. But in actual fact, it does. Winning is everything. And if the Crows do well, the state does, and I'm singing and woohoo. Now, as we go to the break, come on, just for me, just one more little, because it's my thing. It gets me up. Quick, just one more. We're back. We are back.
My favourite part of the call was Rowie screaming, "We're back." I think the Crows were still down 2 goals with about 4 minutes left, and he's saying we're back.
Well, it's a bit like Josh Rochelle doing the shush sign to the crowd when we were still 8 points behind.
Confidence. So that's why they're alpha male athletes. And
your call of Mark Keane's mark, that mark is like, that's Leo Barry, isn't it? That mark
for this season.
Because if he misses that, and who was he on? It was who was in the pack for Carlton? It was
I can't remember who was there, but
if Carlton marked that, that's a shot on goal. Dead in front, 30 metres out after the siren.
Yeah, no one's heart needed that.
It was amazing stuff. He's a find, that bloke, isn't he, the
He's
Irishman?
terrific. He is an absolute star. He is. He's been
No,
the
good
find
footy.
of the season.
2
for
good
Adelaide.
football games.
All right, that was fun. Let's take a quick break. Make sure you tune into Rowie and Timmy G tonight, because I reckon it's going to be some pretty interesting listening as they go over both sides. Close victories over the weekend. 5AA News is coming up. Stacey Lee's going to join us in just a moment. We'll talk politics.
The biggest threat to your business isn't your competition. It's cybercrime. Cybercrime threats impacting Australian businesses large and small continues to grow year on year. One call to one solution will put your business in a safe place and save you from the devastating consequences of cybercrime. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Stay safe and protected. Get in touch with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
You can do just about anything online. Shop, meet new friends, watch reruns of your favourite TV shows or movies. But there's one thing you should never do online, and that's your will. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 23 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Lucy Loken.
Every body is unique. Let the Physio Extra team take care of your specific needs. PhysioExtra.com.
New South Wales Police have identified the investigation into the Bondi Junction stabbing will take some time. Police are now heading up north to speak with killer Joel Couchy's family, who had moved to Sydney from Queensland only last month. Couchy killed 5 women and a male security guard and injured several others, including a 9-month-old baby. Mayor of Waverley Council Paula Marcellos has told David and Will 2 days after the tragedy, the emotions of Sydney-siders are now setting in.
There's still this incredible sense of disbelief, but some people are now becoming angry. Grief is actually starting. We're seeing lots of people coming into the Bondi Junction Mall to lay floral tribute, to light candles. There is now the commencement of the outpouring of grief.
And the 6th and final victim of the Bondi attack has been confirmed as Yizhuan Cheng. The Chinese national had been studying in Australia, and it's believed she has no family in this country. To other news, letters will only be received by residents every second day as Australia Post winds back its delivery services from today. It means a letter sent from one suburb to another might take between 3 and 4 business days. The service is shifting its focus to e-commerce and packages. A man will face court this morning charged over a murder at Welland last week. 21-year-old William Holdback was fatally stabbed in Barpal Street early on Wednesday morning in what police believe was a drug deal gone wrong. Senior Constable Matt Brown says a BMW spotted at the scene led to the arrest.
Detectives went to the suspect's northern suburbs home and arrested the 27-year-old man, charging him with murder. The BMW was also seized from the home and the owner's been interviewed. He's also suspected of murder, but that person's role before, during and after the murder is now the subject of an intense and ongoing investigation by detectives who are continuing to compile evidence regarding that person's involvement.
More taxpayer dollars are expected to be given to medical research and manufacturing here in Australia. The federal government will release a blueprint for investments today, following a policy to increase products made here in our nation. Research into heart disease and cancer is expected to be key areas which will receive funding. And there are fears an attack on Israel could spark an all-out war in the Middle East. Iran has launched hundreds of missiles at the Jewish state, 99% of which were intercepted. Former Israeli Defence Force spokesman Jonathan Conricus has told Today's Show Israel is likely to fight back.
It has various options to do so, but hopefully Israel won't retaliate only for the sake of retaliating, but more in terms of a plan and then achieving a long-term goal against Iran.
The United States, meanwhile, has hosted a meeting of G7 meetings to call for restraint in the region. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And a big good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Lucy. We'll start with a bit of golf. It's looking like it's a two-horse race as players get into the final stretch at the Masters at Augusta. World number one, Scotty Scheffler, just making a birdie on the par 5 13th to move to 9 under, but making his Masters debut, Swede Ludvig Åberg has just made birdie on the 14th to move within a couple of shots.
Now Åberg to get to 7 under. Yes! Within 2 and heading to the par 5.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Let's go to some football. West Coast has secured its first win of the season, defeating Richmond at Optus Stadium by 39 points. Eagles forward Liam Ryan returned from a hamstring injury, switching to a half-back position. Coach Adam Simpson says he managed the change-up well.
A bit of excitement to return. He's been out for a long time, and two, the game's built off back half transition as much as front half, and the skill level that he can bring, it's pretty good. So whilst we haven't been scoring a lot in our front half, and he'll definitely add in that area, but just to upskill him in another role might pay us back down the road.
One other game yesterday with Geelong's 75-point winners against North Melbourne to wrap up round number 5. Briefly elsewhere, 2 games in the English Premier League overnight. Aston Villa upsetting Arsenal 2-0, while Liverpool also suffered a shock 1-0 loss at home to Crystal Palace. And Michelle Janicki has defended her crown in the women's 100-metre hurdles. That was at the National Athletics Championships here in Adelaide. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tommy. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there. Roads are looking really good for the driving today. No great hassles. Do have some works to keep in mind, and you'll find those at Lonsdale, Dyson Road near O'Sullivan's Beach Road. Road plates in use at Dry Creek today. Churchill Road near Cormac Road, speeds reduced, and works at O'Halloran Hill. It's on the Southern Expressway near Majors Road as they widen the expressway there, speeds at 80 k's. You find cameras Anzac Highway, Glenelg North, and West Beach Road at West Beach. You know her music, now discover her story. Marisa Arbella stars as Amy Winehouse in Back to Black. Experience the life behind the lyrics, now showing. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
23 mostly sunny today, 23 again tomorrow, 22 partly cloudy on Wednesday, 21 partly cloudy on Thursday and Friday. Right now though, it's been a chilly start to the morning, only 11.2 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? You might even qualify for a purchase you've already made. Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
If you need to move from A to B this autumn, your best move is hiring from Budget Car and Truck Rental.
To get started, you'll need boxes and tape for storage and furniture covers to keep your possessions pristine. But Budget, they've got you sorted.
That's right. Then you'll need the perfect set of wheels, and Budget has them all. Cars big and small, moving vans and trucks available on a standard driver's licence, plus utes, hybrids, trailers, 12 to 25-seater buses and more.
Once you've chosen a vehicle, grab Budget's blankets and a trolley to ensure the move goes smooth.
Job's done easy with Budget, a family-owned business with friendly staff you can count on and multiple locations across SA.
Budget, get to the good stuff. Call Budget on 13 27 27.
Emergencies are no time to be making tough choices. Luckily, when it comes to the best emergency care, your choice is clear. Calvary Adelaide is South Australia's newest state-of-the-art hospital. With Adelaide's only 24-hour private emergency department, Calvary provides emergency care at any time with no time spared. You'll experience shorter wait times, personalised attention from experienced specialists and nurses, and comfortable modern facilities. Trust Calvary Adelaide, 120 Angus Street, Adelaide.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 8. Jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. Stacey Lee is in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us, thanks to Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture, leading the way in office and education furniture right here in SA. Are they going to need Keen to come in and shift some chairs and desks around the State Admin Building and Parliament House, Stace, because it's reshuffle day today?
It is, absolutely. Yeah, I think the State Admin Building, if you can see removalists coming in and out this morning, it's probably why. There'll be a few Keen Office Furniture chairs getting a little bit of a move around.
Big day for Keens there.
Yeah, very big day.
So what are we expecting from it? So we know that Dan Cregan is no longer going to be the Speaker. Leon Bignell is getting that role.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting move by Malley, because there'd be a lot of Labor people sort of going, oh, Jeff Brock's gone, maybe I'll sneak in. But what's the philosophy behind it, do you think, Stace? Is it about emboldening the Conservative independents? And
I just think this is the Labor Party doing what it does best and being smart and forward-thinking. Keeping a Conservative, former Liberal on side, who Dan Cregan's a very smart man, but they've already had that one position in the cabinet, you know, Jeff Brock being an independent. Why not fill it with another independent? Just future-proofing. Just keep the numbers there. Just keep him on side.
I suppose it keeps the balance of numbers the same in the event that Stewart, it's now Stewart, because he was thrown to Stewart, goes back and becomes a Liberal seat. Well, nothing really changes numerically as far as David Spears and Libs trying to reform government.
It's left a few Labor MPs a bit offside, though. Not necessarily the decision to bring Dan Cregan in, but I think for me, what I've been hearing a lot over the weekend, the decision to put Leon Bignell in the Speaker's chair has got a lot of people offside. Leon Bignell, according to Labor insiders, has had years of poor behaviour, years of reporting of bad behaviour. Former staffers lining up to tell you about incidents in his office over the years. None of it is public, though, so, you know, won't be casting aspersions here. No one really wants to go on the record to talk about it. But the party knows about it, so there's a lot of people very offside that Leon Bignell has been put into the Speaker chair. He gets a big pay bump, he gets a chauffeur-driven car, and it unbalances the numbers on the floor, although, I mean, the Labor Party's got all the numbers, they don't need to worry about that. But there's people in the party thinking, well, he's got a promotion, he's now getting more money, he gets a chauffeur-driven car after years of questionable behaviour. They're not happy about it. And I think what the Premier needs to do now, he needs to elevate another woman to the Cabinet. After the election in 22, their shadow cabinet was equal. It was equal men, equal women, and they threw out that equilibrium by including Nick Champion, who came from federal parliament, as you guys both know. They threw that out by bringing Nick Champion into the mix, so the Premier really needs to add another woman into the mix now.
Do you think there's any chance we're going to see any of the big portfolios shift around at all? Does Chris Picton go to the Premier and say, please, anything but health? Actually, I've done my time.
You'd take being Assistant Minister for Primary Industries over being in charge of ramping, wouldn't you? But, you know, Malley was the one with the big mouth on the election poster going, I've got this magic wand and we're going to get rid of this ramping thing. Chris, you can look after that for the next 4 years.
How would that look, though? I don't know. If I was Chris Picton, I don't know if I'd want to move on from health, because it would look like the Liberal Party got what they've been asking for.
Maybe,
move Chris Picton out of this. He can't handle it.
I don't think he'd want to move.
I wouldn't want to.
He's actually, in an intellectual sense, really, like, he's utterly obsessed with trying to fix it.
Thankless, though, but guess what? If he fixes it, who's at the front of that press conference? It's the most thankless task in politics.
Yeah.
He's there for every bad one and none of the good ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, the day that ramping's fixed, it won't be Chris Picton.
Chris, we've got a spot for you at the back.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, is that going to be coming in our lifetime? I'm not sure that'll be coming in our lifetime.
We might not have to worry about that one yet. But any others? Are you expecting any movement on?
I think Emily Burke. If I was the Premier, I'd be putting Emily Burke into the Cabinet. At the moment, she's Assistant Minister for Autism, and I think she's done a really good job in that, so I'd be putting her in.
That's one of the best things this government's done, that autism stuff, about getting people with autism into the workplace and getting training for people who don't have autism to work out what it's going to be like to work with people who do have autism. Well, these people have got amazing skills, and at a time when we're crying out for more staff, I think it's been a genius policy.
Yep.
It's had international attention, that thing.
Good.
The Autism Works.
Yeah. So I'd be putting Emily Burke in. There was reporting in the Advertiser about a super housing portfolio. I don't know. What I've been told on the weekend, I'm not sure social housing is going to go in with housing and planning. All will be revealed today. But from what I'm being told, I'm not sure it's going to go in. Potentially some changes in transport as well. If I was the Premier, I'd be moving Nick Champion out of housing and planning, and I'd potentially be putting Tom Cootes and Tonus into that, or someone who's got a little bit more experience in it, someone who...
Feels like the next issue that's going to be a quick way to lose government, both federally and state-wise around the country, is going to be how you deal with the housing problem at the moment.
Absolutely. It's health and housing. After health and ramping, housing is the next one.
Yeah, you need your best person on that one.
Yep. So I'd be giving that to someone who's got a little bit more experience in the state parliament. Of course, Nick Champion was in federal parliament, but I'm just not sure he's made an impact in the first 2 years in that role. And there's been any number of lobby groups lining up to go up against him. So I think you want to be keeping those people on side. The Urban Development Institute, the Property Council, you want to be keeping the master builders on side, HIA on side. You want them.
Well, a lot of them were, not with the exception of the Property Council, but a lot of them were the ones who, in the lead up to the election, suddenly dropped Stephen Marshall like a hot potato because they saw Malley and thought, this guy's actually, he seemed more pro-business than the Liberal Premier, rightly or wrongly. You know, that big love affair that they had in the backdraft of COVID when Malley was saying, I'm going to start running these state management committees myself and all of that. It was that sort of hands to the wheel stuff that they wanted to hear.
The other thing that would be tempting is the Premier doesn't have a portfolio. He never has. Stephen Marshall had a number of portfolios.
Jay Weatherall made himself the Treasurer for a while, didn't he?
Yeah. And the Premier doesn't have one. So if there's something he feels really passionately about that he wants to fix, give yourself a portfolio. Why not?
Major events.
Yeah, arts. That's always good. Arts for the social calendar.
I think for the first time in a long time, we've got a Premier who lives in fear of having to go to an artistic event. And I actually think it's playing quite well for him.
I think he's making amends this year.
I'd love to go to the opera, but I'm going to the footy.
That was another reason why I think Leon Bignell was moved into the Speaker chair. He was the head of the Arts Attraction or the Major Events Attraction Fund, and I'm told that the tension between he and Tourism Minister Zoe Beddison was that high they didn't talk.
Oh.
So they wouldn't stand at a press conference together. They couldn't talk to each other, which is a huge issue when you've got a tourism minister and the head of the Tourism Attraction Fund not speaking to each other.
I wonder what kind of hearings you'll get on the floor of Parliament then, going forward. All right, who's in the Keen Office Furniture hot seat, Stacey?
Well, today it'll have to be the Premier, Peter Malinauskas, in the Keen Office Furniture hot seat. He needs to balance out the numbers, he needs another woman in there, and he needs to work out which of the portfolios need maybe someone a little bit more experienced. I would say housing absolutely does.
Good stuff. Well,
excellent,
we look forward to all your thoughts this afternoon. Good on you, Stace. Stacey Leake, make sure you catch her after Matt Pantelis today. We're not sure when that'll be announced, so it might well be during your show, Stacey. It'll be a matter of when that one breaks, but certainly you'll hear it here on 5AA. We're going to check traffic, and in a moment we're going to head back to Bondi Junction and catch up with someone for the latest there in Sydney.
Thanks. Well, not looking too bad for the run-in today. Accident breakdown free in the majors. Drove works at Eastwood, which are a bit slow at the moment. Glen Osmond Road near Fullerton Road. Little busy at Dry Creek. Works there with road plates in East Churchill Road near Cormac Road. Speeds at 40. And sluggish at Plimpton Marion Road near Maple Street. You'll find early morning cameras, Baines Road, Onkaparinga Hills and Bartley Terrace at Westlake Shore. OTR's range of barista-made coffee is available 24/7, so you can enjoy your coffee your way any time of the day or night. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture have the latest in office and education furniture all in one showroom. And the Keen staff love furniture. So whilst your colleagues talk politics at the water cooler, the Keen team discuss full office fit-outs and ergonomic chairs. Except last week when Shane told the team the scratches on his face were from a koala he tried feeding whilst picnicking in the Adelaide Hills. Thanks, Shane. Keen delivers and sets up furniture at schools and workplaces in Mount Barker and all over SA. Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture. Leaders in office and education furniture.
Australian Idol winner Damien Leith returns to Her Majesty's Theatre this May with his acclaimed Roy Orbison orchestrated show, paying tribute to the Big O with a 35-piece concert orchestra. Hear Crying, Blue Bayou, Oh Pretty Woman and so many more. Live at Her Majesty's Theatre Friday, May 10. Roy Orbison orchestrated with Damien Leith. Book now at Ticketek.
Thank you very much. You've been an awesome audience. Thank you so much.
Now, I'm sure you all know what a swear jar is. In some houses, they're fuller than others. But here's a swear jar full of goodness. It's the swear jar at Bi-Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, full of pledges and promises from the whole team at Bi-Urban of things that they swear to do for you.
So here's one sent to us straight from the Bi-Urban swear jar. It's from Laura, the in-house interior designer. Laura is new to the team. Laura is extremely talented and swears to work closely with you to bring your ideas to life and help give you all the inspiration you need when designing your new Bi-Urban bathroom.
And here's one from Coxie himself. I tell you what, he would have been swearing with 5 minutes to go on the footy on the weekend. David swears to be available to work through any issues should they arise and to deliver a positive outcome.
For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Bi-Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Thinking about a solar battery? Don't wait. Connect with NRG Solar and bring home a solar battery with a rock-solid 10-year warranty. Use the energy you generate during the day. Store some for later, reducing reliance on energy providers and putting money back in your pocket. See NRG Solar in their new premises at St Mary's. Bigger place, better space, some amazing people. Visit NRG Solar now at 1275 South Road or call 1300 858 160.
Walco is making headlines again for SA's biggest cover-up. If you own a pool, it will affect you in the best possible way. For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out, while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. If looks matter, join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Visit walco.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 minutes to 8, breaking 8 coming up after 8 o'clock this morning. Also, the Masters is careering towards a conclusion. That'll wrap up in the next hour or two. Scott Scheffler still leading with about 4 or 5 holes to play, just waiting for the scoreboard to update. We're going to be crossing to our very own golf correspondent, Graham Corns. Now, that's a sentence I never expected to say, but somehow he managed to jag himself media accreditation to have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to the Masters. So we're going to be chatting with Graham after 8:30 today. Let's revisit what has been the top story of the morning, the Bondi Junction massacre. We've had some health updates throughout the morning. Some of those have been positive, a release of people from hospital. Unfortunately, in the last few minutes, though, some breaking news with regard to a 6th person who died being identified. Robert Avadia was at Bondi Junction covering the story for 7 News yesterday. Rob, can we just start with that breaking development that a 6th victim has been identified?
Yes, her name is Yixuan Cheng. I understand she is Chinese, and her family have arrived in Australia too. So the news has been broken to them, unfortunately, in the past 36 or so hours, and there was a reason that police held off on giving any identities or nationalities on the first day. They said there were a couple of foreign nationals who were victimised by this. And that is to allow them the opportunity to inform those families. And those families have been informed, and Yixuan Cheng's parents, I understand, have arrived in Sydney.
Do we know, Rob, was she here as a tourist or was she working here or studying?
Very few details at the moment, so that's the sort of thing that we'll certainly get on top of throughout the morning.
Because the poor security guard, Faraz Tahir, I saw the Pakistan High Commission put out a condolence statement yesterday, not just for him obviously, but for the other victims too. But he was a Pakistani, still a Pakistani citizen, albeit someone who was here in Australia as a refugee.
Correct, yeah, as a refugee, arrived here about a year or so ago, has no family here to speak of, and he will be laid to rest in the next couple of days. His family in Pakistan has been informed too. And there was a vigil for him last night for members of the Muslim community, not just for him, though, but for all the victims of this. It's my understanding he was on his first day on the job, and he has ended up dying protecting citizens of his adopted country, the only male to have died in this.
And that's one angle that police are looking at, to the extent that we can work out any kind of warped thought pattern here, but the very strong suspicion is that Couchy had some sort of obsession with trying to find female targets.
Well, yes, but there's still so much unknown. It's very it's very easy, I guess, to conclude that he deliberately targeted females, and perhaps there was an ideological reason for that. And maybe there is some trigger there. But he's also a mentally ill man. It could well be that they were just the softer target.
Yeah.
A woman with a baby and another woman with her back turned. You'll notice on occasion a couple of men challenged him and he wasn't as keen to go there. So it could be as simple as the fact that they were softer targets and harder for them to defend themselves against a man with a knife. But certainly police are looking into that. There's no mystery on who has done this and how they've done it, but there remains a mystery in terms of why he has done it and why he has specifically targeted women. But the police know for sure Joel Cauchi has had a lengthy history of mental illness. He was first diagnosed with schizophrenia at the age of 17. He had an obsession with knives as well, and I can tell you he comes from a very, very decent family in Queensland. He was raised in Toowoomba, and his family put out a statement calling the actions of their son atrocious and brutal, and expressing support for the Detective Inspector Amy Scott, who shot their son dead, hoping that she's all right too. So a very decent family and a tragedy all round.
I know you've been on the beat for a long time in Sydney, Rob, and you know this is a city that's seen its fair share of anguish and some big and unpleasant stories over the years. Two that spring to mind for me are the aftermath of the Cronulla riots, but obviously also the Lindt Cafe siege. How does this sort of fit into that sort of category? Because this is just sort of, it's almost a mournful feeling, isn't it? It's just, you can't make any sense of it.
It is, and look, it's not, you don't just look at the numbers here. You look at the Lindt Cafe siege and 2 people died. The Singleton bus crash last year, 10 people died. Here, 6 people died, plus the stabber who was shot dead by police. It's not a matter of numbers and tallying up what's bigger. It's a matter of how it affects us all, what it is that we're looking at. The Singleton bus tragedy last year, these were people celebrating life. They had just come from a wedding. They were happy. They were joyful. The Lindt Cafe siege was an attack on all of us, on all of society, through ideology. And 2 people died in that, but it was atrocious given the fact that it was an attack on our values. And you look at what happened a couple of days ago, Westfield Bondi Junction, it's something that we all do. We all go to the shops. We're all out for a sunny Saturday afternoon, and that is exactly what it was. Such an ordinary activity, and it's so easy for all of us, no matter how irrational it is to say, it's so easy to say, it could have been me, it could have been somebody I know, because we all do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Robert Avadia there, 7 News senior reporter in Sydney with the latest on the atrocity at the Bondi Westfield.
We do know, and there was some good news this morning, thanks for that, Rob, we really appreciate your time, that was some good news. 8 people still in hospital, which means that there's 3 that have been released overnight as well. One obviously had passed away, and we spoke about that a little bit earlier, but 12 initially taken to hospital, 8 remain, 3 of those have been released. That's good news. The infant girl who is in Sydney Children's Hospital in intensive care is in a serious but stable condition, so hoping too that she will make a full recovery. Lots of Dutton's texts coming through. I don't know if people are speculating openly about the reshuffle, or they're suggesting they've got an inside running, but there's all sorts. It's become like footy tipping on the Dutton's text line this morning.
My computer's currently about as good as the TV at Aldinga, mate. It's completely cacked itself, so I'm not in a position to read anything that's arrived in the last 10 minutes.
No, that's right. I think I don't know if people are cheering. They want changes in their health portfolio. They want changes in rec and sport. Anyway, we'll all will be revealed a little bit later today. But keep those Dutton's texts coming through, because we're going to have a forensic look through after 8 o'clock. Dutton's Volkswagen, less than 18 minutes away up the freeway in Mount Barker. Dutton's, they're easy to do business with.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. To beat the summer heat, Yes can connect you with a new air conditioner thanks to the SA government initiative called REPS. Yes is offering eligible concession households a fully installed 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $8.99. Yes, $8.99. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yess.net.au.
If you're struggling with your CPAP therapy, you'll be glad to hear that Respirico Healthcare have a solution for you.
Respirico now offer the world's first auto-fitting mask from Fisher & Paykel Healthcare.
The Fisher & Paykel Solo mask, it fits automatically to your face with a simple touch. In fact, it's that easy. And when it comes to CPAP therapy, fit is everything.
Not only have Will and I seen them, we've even worn them, and they are extremely comfortable. For a limited time, Respirico Healthcare is offering the Fisher & Paykel Sleep-style CPAP device for 30% off, along with a free solo mask valued at $310.
To experience this groundbreaking technology, visit one of 6 Respirico clinics and mention you heard about them on FIVEAA to redeem this incredible offer.
Respirico Healthcare, proudly serving SA for 20 years. When considering whether CPAP is right for you, speak to your doctor. Always follow the directions for use.
Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture have the latest in office and education furniture all in one showroom. And the Keen staff love furniture. So whilst your colleagues talk politics at the water cooler, the Keen team discuss full office fit-outs and ergonomic chairs. Except last week when Jackie asked Shane if he used to ride a horse to school before the tram came into operation in 1929. Nice one, Jackie. Keen delivers and sets up furniture at schools and workplaces in Glenelg and all over SA. Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture. Leaders in office and education furniture.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 23 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Lucy Loken.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Sydney police are investigating whether the Bondi Junction killer deliberately targeted women in Saturday's deadly rampage. 9 reporter Jack Hahn says the only man among the 6 dead was a security guard rushing in to help.
In this CCTV footage that has been obtained by detectives and even the mobile phone vision that's been floating around, the attacker, a man from Brisbane, Joel Couchy, is seen time and time again running past men, running away from men and seemingly unfazed by men. So that is a line of inquiry this morning as to whether or not this was a targeted attack towards women.
8 people, including a 9-month-old baby, remain in hospital after suffering stab wounds in the attack. And flags will be flown at half-mast on government buildings across the country today to mourn those lost. The 6th and final victim of the attack has now been identified as Yizhuan Cheng. The 27-year-old Chinese national had been studying in Australia and she has no family in this country. In local news, fire crews remain at the scene of a house fire in Theberton. The blaze broke out on Jail Road around 5 a.m. Jasmine Turlings from 7 News says it is unclear how it started.
The fire has been contained to one house, but it has been extensively damaged. Now, sadly, the resident of this house, an 83-year-old man, sustained some injuries in this fire, but he was taken to the Royal Adelaide by ambulance and his injuries aren't believed to be life-threatening at this stage.
A new $140 million Royal Air Force contract is set to create new jobs in Adelaide. The Albanese government has signed a deal with Boeing Defence to upgrade the Air Force's fleet of P-8A Poseidon aircraft used for maritime patrol. The work will enhance the craft's anti-submarine warfare, maritime strike and surveillance capabilities. There's a new residential record for South Australia as the sale price for the Anglican Diocese of Bishop's Court has been revealed publicly for the first time. The property on Pennington Terrace in North Adelaide was sold for $13.5 million, making it officially the highest value residential property transaction in the state's history. And Nestle, Coke, Mars and other major brands are due to face a Senate inquiry into supermarket prices. The Australian Retailers Association is calling out multinational suppliers, claiming the parent companies are increasing prices on household items. Turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Moran.
Thank you, Lucy. World number one Scotty Scheffler is about to secure a second green jacket as the Masters gets into the final few holes at Augusta. He's currently 10 under with only a few holes to play, and he's 3 shots clear of Ludwig Oberg, meaning he's likely to win the major just 2 years after he broke through to win his first. To football now, the Crows and Port will both have light training runs this morning and afternoon respectively as they look ahead to this weekend's matches. Adelaide has the blockbuster time slot of Friday night at home against Essendon, while the Power has a huge test on the road against Collingwood at the MCG. West Coast, meantime, has moved off the bottom of the ladder thanks to their first win of the season over Richmond at Optus Stadium. The Tigers looked in ominous form early, booting the first 4 goals of the game before the Eagles kicked 16 goals to 6 after their slow start. Coach Adam Simpson says the win is good reward for his young side.
It feels different this year, doesn't it? It feels like we're chasing different things. We've got a different profile. Yeah, it's a good reward for a bit of work, but it's just another step in hopefully the right direction.
And one other game to wrap up the round, with Geelong now 5-0 to start the season after smashing North Melbourne at home by 75 points. Let's get to soccer, and Arsenal has slipped up in the EPL title race after going down 2-0 at home to Aston Villa, while Liverpool also lost 1-0 at home to Crystal Palace, meaning Manchester City are the big beneficiaries, now 2 points clear at the top of the table. And some big results at the National Athletics Championships here in Adelaide yesterday, with Victorian teenager Claudia Hollingworth taking out the 800-metre women's title, and then Luke Boys upset Peter Bold to win the men's 800-metre crown. And that's the 5AA sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there. Accident or breakdown free on the majors today, so no great hassles getting to work, which is excellent. You will find works at South Brighton to look out for, Brighton Road near Folkestone Road. A little bit slow at Cowandilla, Marion Road near St Donald Bradford Drive, and we've got speeds at 40 at the moment at Dry Creek. Road plates in use there. Churchill Road north to Cormac Road. Cameras, Adelphi, Torres, Glenelg North and Airport Road at Brooklyn Park. Start your next adventure with a bonus 3 years Subaru Cap Price Service Plan on selected Subaru models. Offer ends April 30 at your local Subaru retailer. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Mostly sunny, top of 23 today. Same again tomorrow. Partly cloudy, 22 on Wednesday. Partly cloudy, 21 for Thursday and Friday. Right now, it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 minutes after 8, Graham Corns coming up this hour. The more we talk about this, Graham Corns getting himself into the Masters, the more we realise how absurd this is. And it's in fact inspired a $100 Kent Town hotel giveaway that we're going to do in the next 15 minutes. Stay listening for that.
This is going to be fun.
$100 voucher to the Kent Town Hotel. Maybe we'll even enter into the vernacular, doing a Cornsey, but we'll explain all in just a few moments' time. Breaking it up.
Which historically has meant interviewing someone and not taping it.
But, well, that's exactly right.
We're going to change the definition of doing a Cornsey.
I think we're going to have to after this. That's the interview coming up after 8:30, but your chance to win a $100 Kent Town hotel voucher is not too far away.
Well, 2 months ago, our next guest, Frank Pangello, the independent MP, was howled down in some quarters for proposing an independent inquiry into transgender medicine here in South Australia, particularly the administering of puberty blockers and gender-affirming drugs. Well, since then, after the failure of his private member's bill, or rather the fact that it didn't even materialise, 3 things have happened. First, the British government has put a stop to some of these practices off the back of an inquiry. The New South Wales government, Chris Minns' government, is investigating into the wisdom or otherwise of the prescribing of these drugs. And only a few days ago, the National Association of Psychiatrists came out and called on the federal government to hold an independent inquiry. And you know, none of these people are saying it's about vilifying anyone who genuinely needs to change gender, but rather to look at the huge explosion in numbers, which we've seen locally here through the Women's and Children's Hospital, without precedent. We have Frank Pangello on the line now. Frank, where does this leave your position on it? Are you going to try to revisit this? Because it does feel like the context of this debate has changed in a very short space of time.
Well, it has, and so thank you for having me on, Will and David. It has changed it, and it continues to change and will change. And look, all this follows a full review that was released last week in the UK by eminent paediatrician Dr. Hilary Cass. She basically found that the treatment of these kids is based on little or no evidence and based on real shaky foundations, and they shouldn't be prescribed these hormone treatments or these puberty blockers under the age of 18. So essentially what's been happening, David, there's been a human experiment that's been going on without much scientific evidence to back it up. And of course they're using these very vulnerable kids to conduct these experiments based on this ideology that has no medical foundation. Now, you can imagine what these kids are being put through. All I was trying to do was have a parliamentary inquiry, a motion to have a look at these treatments. Are they appropriate? What are we doing? But I got held down, as you said. The government continues to bury their head in the sand. After the Hilary Cass report came out the other day, I put out a press release calling on the government to immediately move for an independent review. They don't need to go to Parliament if they don't want to, but it fell on deaf ears. Now, the Premier needs to have a real hard look at this. At the weekend, he was, announcing netball stadiums and the like. Well, I hope he actually turns around, goes to the Health Minister and says, you better have a real hard look at this, because the guidelines that are being used in South Australia are based on guidelines that have been found to be flawed and also used by the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne, which did not come out of it very well in the Cass report. So something needs to be done. Otherwise, the state actually will risk litigation from a lot of families when things go wrong. And, they have gone wrong.
Do you think, Frank, potentially that if anything, you were simply too early, and the reason you got pushed back politically was for fear of being first, and that just maybe, given this stuff going on in the UK and around the rest of the country, that you might have a more sympathetic hearing from the state government if you were to go and pursue this again now?
Well, I hope they do. Look, it wasn't a matter of being early or being first. I've been looking at this for 12 months, looking at all the evidence that's been accrued over that period of time, and I thought it was right when medical evidence from accredited professionals is saying this is wrong, what we're doing. You're creating a type of opposite sex, basically, in a hospital, and there's no evidence to support that it's working. There could be other reasons that these kids are so confused. It could be a mental issue. It could well be, they could be on the autism spectrum. There could be many other things that they don't look at. But not just to say, okay, if you think you're a girl or a boy, let's put you on hormones or puberty blockers and treat you this way, when there could be other reasons, psychiatric reasons. And that was my concern. I didn't come in as a transphobic, and I was called a transphobic, a bigot, I got attacked everywhere. No, I just came from the right way of saying, hey, hold on, let's put the brakes on this. We better look at the welfare of these kids. And I'm hoping that the government wake up to this now, particularly the Premier, and he says to the Health Minister, look, we need to have a look at an independent review, because you can't say what we're doing in South Australia is any different to what they were doing in the UK. It's not. It's based on the same guidelines.
Mm-hmm. Frank Pangello there for today's Breaking at 8. Thank you, Frank. I think the other thing, the most telling intervention was the one by the National Association of Practising Psychiatrists, because when I did that story about the woman who's now 28 who's suing her psychiatrist, where she changed gender off the back of just one session with her shrink. One.
Crazy.
Well, it's a pretty significant step to take, and has now been racked with remorse. She had a mastectomy, she had a hysterectomy. and is now, it's all before the courts. But I was contacted by a couple of medical professionals here in Adelaide who said privately they are racked with unease about what they're doing in their jobs, but they feel that because of the prevailing orthodoxies around this stuff, they can't speak out about it because they don't want to look like they're, themselves being bigoted.
How bad? I mean, these people are medical professionals.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they're scientists. They just deal in science, not feelings.
Yet at the same time, I think we've got to be hugely respectful of those young people who have made the change and say that they've never been happier, because it's something that has existed through history. But at the same time, like other people I've spoken to whose kids almost started taking puberty blockers and so forth, it just emerged in the end after multiple loving conversations with them that deep down they were gay. And it's funny, that almost like the weird thing in society that you can feel a bigger stigma about coming out as a gay man or a lesbian woman, whereas at the moment it's like if you feel out of sorts in class or whatever and you're not fitting in with your peer group, you get this sort of dopamine rush where you say, all right, I'm transgender, and everyone goes, hooray for you. People being good and loving, they're going to support you. But then, like to come back to the 28-year-old who went through that process, she went, actually, no, I never was a guy. And I had one meeting with a psychiatrist and everyone went, yep, this is what the manual says.
There should be no resistance to having medical inquiries. I mean, maybe this is a grotesque oversimplification, but if it was a treatment for preventing heart attacks, it was a heart stent or something or other get put in, and it saved lots of lives, but it also ruined a whole bunch of lives,
there would automatically be an inquiry.
You'd have an inquiry, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't say it's all bad or it's all good. You'd say, no, we're in the business of trying to improve outcomes for people. We're doctors.
Well, the sad thing is, though, that there's people who are talking about what should and shouldn't happen in this space who have absolutely no medical background at all, but they are sort of crusaders on the question, which means that if you do write a story about someone who's been through it and has come to regret it and has paid with their own body parts in the process and is now going before the courts to seek redress, you get accused of, oh, well, you're just highlighting that one case because you're a transphobe. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough, whatever. It's the sheer impossibility of discussing it in an intelligent fashion.
We have a $100 Kent Town voucher to give away. Make sure you check out the Kent Town Hotel. They won the best hotel redevelopment just recently. It's won all sorts of awards. You can see the bars, restaurants, the balcony. They've got 250-seat function room. It's great too. We got $150 to kick along your good time at the Kent Town Hotel. We just want you to tell us about the time you've bluffed your way into something.
Hello, my name is Mr. Burns. I believe you have a letter for me.
Okay, Mr. Burns. What's your first name?
I don't know. Great plan, Bart.
When's the time you've bluffed your way into something? Graham Corns has somehow secured media accreditation to cover the Masters. We're going to be chatting with him in about 15, 20 minutes' time. We don't know how this has happened. Maybe he's got a long and storied golf journalism career that we're just not familiar with. But he's going to be doing it for us, so I guess he fulfills the role in some way. It feels like a bluff. When have you bluffed your way into something? 8223000, or you can text us on the Dutton's text line 0480081395.
So when John Howard did the "We will decide who comes here and the circumstances under which they come," that speech?
You bluffed your way into Australia,
I was going anyway. Yeah, I did. I turned up in a boat. Our next door neighbour at the time in Leichhardt was a builder called Rob, world's best bloke. We had this massive night the night before. And he's going, "What are you doing tomorrow? You're going to that Liberal campaign launch, are you?" I said, yeah. He said, "Oh, I've always been really interested in going to one of them. I'd love to come along with you." And there's about, 1:30 a.m. on Sunday we're having this conversation. He said, "How about when you go in the morning, if I'm up, just call out half an hour before and I'll come with you." And I said, "Oh, you sort of need accreditation, Rob." He goes, "Oh, surely we can just wangle our way into it." So we went together and I said, "Oh, I'm accredited." I said, "Look, unfortunately, Rob, who's doing an internship with us at the Telegraph, his accreditation wasn't sorted out. I don't know if it's there. Is it there? They went,
Oh, very
we can't
good.
find it. And Rob goes, they went, no, in you come. Well, thanks, AFP.
Oh, that's good.
And then we were sitting there in front of the PM and Rob's just going, this is wild. Because he's just a normal bloke who loved politics. He ended up having a front row seat for one of the more memorable Australian campaign speeches. Oh, yeah, Rob.
That would win you a $100 Kent Town voucher, that story. When have you bluffed your way into something? It doesn't necessarily been, it might be a, could have been a job, could have been an event, could have been, a concert, past security, whatever it might well be. When have you bluffed your way into something? 82230000 or text us on the Duttons text line. You could win that Kent Town hotel voucher valued at $100. We're going to check traffic and come back with your stories in just a moment.
She is looking pretty good for the run into work on a Monday, which is always nice. Simply some roadworks to look out for. You find them at Richmond this morning, South Road near Deakin Avenue. Also at Eastwood, Glen Osmond Road near Fullerton Road, and slow at works at Trinity Gardens, McGill Road near Annesley Avenue. You find early morning cameras, Baines Road, Woodcroft, and Trimmer Parade at Season. Now at Harvey Norman, buy a selected 2024 Samsung TV and get 15% back in gift cards when you buy with any Samsung soundbar. Limited time now at Harvey Norman. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The business sector has had incredible advances in AI. One solution can show you how AI can streamline your business, introducing efficiencies you never thought possible. You'll save money and time, unlock new growth avenues, and you'll be keeping up with the rest of the business community. With AI and One Solution, you can innovate, optimize, and excel across every facet of your business. One Solution will show you how. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
NRG Solar have moved to a new location. It's bigger and better, and their new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. So, if you're looking to save money on electricity and help our environment, don't wait. Visit NRG Solar at their new office on South Road, St Mary's, where every 3 customers refer someone they know, which means they must be doing something right. Call into NRG Solar at their new premises, 1275 South Road, or visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Now, this is quite the cover-up, and look, Walco is at the centre of it. It's not the good kind of cover-up because it will save you time and money.
They are Walco. These guys know what they're doing when it comes to your pool. If you haven't already got your SA-made Walco Guardian pool cover ready to go, well, now's the time to get in touch with Steve and the team at Walco.
The locally made Walco Guardian pool cover will preserve your chemicals, keep your water clean, and you won't need to run your pump all winter.
You'll save a lot of money doing that. And now Walco have gone one better with their stylish new mesh cover. Now, this cover is perfect if your pool is the main focus of your yard and needs to look amazing all through winter because it never sags, Will, unlike some of us.
So, if looks matter, join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Visit walco.com.au.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriutpa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au.
It all started with a pen and paper 35 years ago. Lots of ideas and a ton of innovation. Nothing's changed. Beechwood Homes is still building stunning bespoke homes right across South Australia. Under construction right now is another Beechwood Homes masterpiece at Blackwood Park. This new display home will showcase Beechwood's dedication to cutting-edge design, craftsmanship and innovation. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes after 8, Graham Corn shortly with the Masters racing towards a conclusion. Scott Scheffler looks like he's going to win it. Graham Corn's managed to bluff his way there as a journalist covering the Masters. Once in a lifetime opportunity. We're asking you for a $100 Kent Town hotel voucher when you've bluffed your way into something. Rita in North Plympton, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
Good, thanks, Rita.
I bluffed my way into an international fashion design expo in London several years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was open to the public on a Monday, but I had to work. I was in London at the time. So it was open to the professionals on the Sunday, so I decided to go and pretend I was somebody by a different name from Sydney Design House. I had to make the name up on the spot because I had to register. What I didn't know was that I was going to be chauffeur-driven around to different venues, and I was standing next to the representative of Fendi from Italy while we looked at samples of material, and he liked the samples that I was looking at. So, yeah, I was fed, I was driven around, and I came back with bags and bags of fabric samples. I loved it.
Oh, my That is goodness. Awesome. The chauffeur. That gives it an extra bit of grunt, doesn't it?
Well done, Rita. Thank you. Let's go to Brooklyn Park. Shane, good morning.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I bluffed my way onto Adelaide Oval. I was watching this is back in the early 90s, so I was watching West Adelaide play South Adelaide. It was a must-win game, and Westies went down, and I was furious with, basically the coach. I said to my mate, I'm going to go in and I want to have a listen to what the coach has got to say to the players. Well, I got onto the ground, got past the security guards. I said I was with the team, went down the race with the team, got into the underneath the grandstand. Coach screamed at the steward and said, I want everybody out of this place. No one here except the players. Well, somehow I managed to stay with the players. Coach went round to every player individually, and I won't use the colourful language that he used. Got to me, sized me up and down, looked at me and went, well, who are you? And just moved on to the next player.
You almost copped a serve, Shane.
I nearly did.
That's superb.
Go on, Shane, lift.
Yeah.
Lift.
That's great. Let's go to Parafield Gardens. Good morning, Margaret.
Oh, good morning. Gee, these are great. They're so funny, I have to say. So back in the 70s, you have to remember security wasn't that tight anywhere. There was a show called Come Out, and it was a children's festival arts festival, and you could go to the festival theatre and do arts and crafts, a little bit of singing. So I was always interested in that kind of thing, so I went there, and you got your little tag with your name, and it was really good fun. But, you know, I was thinking, there's a band that's going to be playing here, and it's called Dr. Hook. I'm wondering if there's any way I can sort of get in to see them rehearse. So my girlfriend, who's got, you know, more front on her than John Martin's, we went round to this special entrance, knocked on the gate. The security guard opened the gate. We said, we're here with Come Out. We have to come out and, you know, go and see Dr. Hook. And we quickly flashed it. And he kind of looked like we were a bit sus, because think about it, we're about 16. So anyway, he let us through. So we went right up to, you know, the balcony seats, the expensive seats at the festival theatre. It was just the two of us, my best friend and I. We're just sitting there, and we watched the concert. They were rehearsing for half an hour, and they were waving to us and saying, hi, girls, what do you think? Does it sound all right? So here we are getting a free concert, and then the security guy rocks up, asks our name. You know, I just blubber into tears. My girlfriend's holding it, going, and she gave a false name. Anyway, we just ran off. We got away with it, but it was just one of those great schoolgirl stories. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Oh, that's awesome. Well done, Margaret. Or your friend, anyway. Sam and Theberton, good morning.
Good morning. I reckon I taught her that trick because do you remember the La Rock days, Dave? Do you remember La Rock?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, there was a band playing there. I can't remember the name of the band. And I thought, you know, they want too much to get in. I'm going to bluff my way into this. Anyway, I walked up there and I said to the guy, oh, I'm here, I'm part of the band, I'm the roadie, I'm running late. I've got to quickly go up there and help them out. He goes, you're in the props, what's your name? I told him some crappy name. And I went up there and I listened to the band. Nobody said nothing. It was a great night. It was a free night.
Good work, Sam. Thank you, mate.
We might take one more. Peter, good morning.
Good morning. How you going?
Good, thanks, Peter.
Many years, I used to be a fan of a British TV series, a cop series called The Bill.
Oh, yeah.
And I was an ardent fan, and they had a couple of their stars, Duncan and Mickey, who came over here, and they did a promo in the Bunnings car park down at Welland. At the time, I had a bit of dough, and I had a brand new Jaguar, S-Type Jaguar. So I went down there to see them, and I thought that I would impersonate me being the driver that was going to take them back to their hotel. So I had the car door open, and as I say, it's a brand new S-Type Jag, and I was going to take them back to the hotel. Nothing nefarious. I just wanted my idols type of thing to get in the car. We have a chat, and I take them back to the hotel. But the normal proper driver turned up and ruined it.
I was going to say, Peter, it's probably all for the best, because otherwise there might still be a bloke sitting there in a chauffeured vehicle outside the Bunnings there on James Congdon Drive.
Sounds like they might have had to step down when they got out of Peter's car into the proper chauffeur car. That Jag sounds beautiful. Who do we like for the $100 Kent Town? What a great bunch of stories.
We like them all, but we really like Rita. I think being driven around by a chauffeur through London at some international fashion event pretending you're Carla Zampetti, you're going to get the chocolates for that one.
Superb. Well done.
Audacious.
Rita, $100 voucher to the Kent Town Hotel. Check out the brand new award-winning Kent Town Hotel bars, restaurant, balcony and 250-seat balcony room.
Pathology is an essential part of our healthcare system, and 70% of all our medical decisions rely on pathology tests. They help GPs and other healthcare professionals diagnose illnesses, diseases and infections, and we all benefit from pathology being bulk billed. But government funding hasn't increased in 24 years, so to keep pathology affordable and accessible for all Australians, visit keeppathologybulkbilled.com.au. Authorised by LWET, Australian Pathology, Canberra.
Electricity bill!
Bills shouldn't be scary. EcoVantage have supplied energy efficiency in homes for over 15 years. They can install hot water systems that use up to 80% less electricity than regular hot water systems. Help the environment while you save hundreds. And thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you could get your energy efficient hot water system supplied and installed for as little as no cost to you. Stop scary hot water bills with ecovantage.com.au.
Now, it's always handy to have a mate with a bus, a van, a truck or a ute, but they rarely have all four, and they can't promise 5-star service, and that's why Avis Truck Rental Adelaide is the best mate you can have.
They've been SA's go-to vehicle rental company for decades, helping work go smooth and holidays go ahead. So whether you need a bigger set of wheels to get the job done or just to get away, they have you covered.
Now, with their fleet of vans, buses, utes and trucks you can drive without a car licence, they're sure to help you turn got a problem into not a problem.
Avis Truck Rental Adelaide open 7 days at 416 Port Road, West Hindmarsh. Book online at avis.com.au or call 8241 5200.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny, 23 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Lucy Loken.
Every body is unique. Let the Physio Extra team take care of your specific needs. PhysioExtra.com.
The site of Sydney's mass stabbing is no longer a crime scene, with police handing over Bondi Junction Westfield to management. 6 people were killed in a violent attack at the hands of a 40-year-old Queensland man who was shot dead by police. Officers are now up in Queensland speaking with Joel Couchy's family. New South Wales Police Minister Yasmin Catley says they're hoping this will help determine what motivated the incident.
They will not only interview the family, but also agencies that Joel has had any interaction with. That will help form part of the investigation into the why, I guess, and that's really what we need to do. But we need to make sure that is done thoroughly, and of course the New South Wales Police are more than equipped to do that.
Meanwhile, a witness to the tragedy has described the need to stay with victims as police yelled at him to run. Patrick was shopping for a suit when the attack unfolded. He had no idea what happened until he arrived at the top of an escalator to find a person bleeding out. Patrick says he passed several victims as police ordered him to run for his life.
I felt real awful and like I didn't want to leave them. Does that make sense? So I ran back from the escalator, then ran back towards her, and then they just kept yelling at me, just leave, just leave.
And in news this morning, the 6th and final victim of the attack has been identified as Yizhuan Cheng. The Chinese national had been studying in Australia and she has no family in this country. To other news, there's been another instance of drink driving on our roads. Police have caught a 24-year-old Encounter Bay male in a random breath test on Adelaide Road in Hindmarsh Valley. He was stopped by patrols at 11:45 last night behind the wheel of a black Porsche sedan and blew a blood alcohol reading of .221. The car was impounded for 28 days and the driver lost his licence for 12 months. An Adelaide resident is walking around nearly $1 million richer but doesn't know it yet. The South Australian was among the 6 Division 1 winners in Saturday's Cross Lotto draw, with each person taking home more than $860,000. The winning entry was purchased at the Avenues news agency and stationery supplies shop in Stepney. A house on Jail Road, Theberton, went up in flames around 5 this morning. The 83-year-old male occupant was able to evacuate safely but sustained injuries in the blaze. He was taken to the RA by paramedics with non-life-threatening injuries. No police dogs or horses at the Theberton Police Barracks were affected by the fire, and investigators are yet to determine the cause, which was contained, thankfully, to just the one premises. And a judge is due to hand down his decision this morning in the defamation fight between Bruce Lerman and Network 10. Mr Lerman, who denies raping Brittany Higgins, is suing 10 and Lisa Wilkinson over an interview on the project. Justice Lee must decide if Mr Lerman was identifiable, and if so, whether Network 10 showed the allegations were true or that they were in the public interest to publish. To 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you, Lucy. Some breaking news. American world number 1 Scotty Scheffler has just won the US Masters at Augusta by a whopping 4 shots. The 27-year-old father-to-be tapping in for par just seconds ago to secure his second green jacket. Cameron Smith ended his round on 2 under. Cam Davis was 1 over, while Adam Scott finished at 4 over, and Jason Day was 5 over. Let's get to football now, and round 5 is complete, with Port Adelaide sitting nicely in 3rd spot, while the Crows have breathed new life into their season after securing their first win of their campaign with a stunning upset of Carlton. And round 5 wrapped up yesterday with Geelong thumping North Melbourne by 75 points, while in the late game it was West Coast securing its first win of the season with a 39-point smashing of Richmond. Tigers coach Adam Uze says their 10-day break before their next match is needed.
The second half we looked tired. Our 3rd quarter, that's not us. Tony get 3 or 4 inside 50s, and we just, the damn wall looked like it was going to break there for a little while, but we did look tired.
To soccer, Melbourne City has thrashed the Perth Glory 8-0 to keep its A-League men's finals hopes alive. And the EPL's title race has been shaken up with Aston Villa upsetting Arsenal 2-0, while Crystal Palace also caused a big boil-over, beating Liverpool 1-0 at Anfield. Manchester City now leads by 2 points with 6 games to play. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tommy. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Coromandel Valley, a smash on Main Road near Auckland Hill Road, Mawson Lakes, Carvey bus crash on Main Street at University Boulevard, and a Dry Creek works with road plates in Euston Churchill Road North near Cormac Road, speeds at 40. Slow going Brighton Road at Brighton with a camera Adelphi Terrace at Glenelg North. Dive into paradise with Lux Maldives deals at Flight Centre. Save on a 5-star 7-night stay from just $4,399 for 2. Hurry, book now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your AutoMasters technician.
23 mostly sunny today, same again tomorrow. 22 partly cloudy on Wednesday, 21 partly cloudy on Thursday and Friday. Right now it's 16.4. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Struggling with your CPAP therapy? Try the world's first auto-fitting mask from Fisher & Paykel Healthcare. Respirocare Healthcare is offering the Fisher & Paykel Sleep Style device for 30% off, plus a free solo mask valued at $310. Visit one of 6 Respirocare clinics and mention this ad to redeem this offer. Respirocare Healthcare, proudly serving South Australia for 20 years. When considering whether CPAP is right for you, speak to your doctor. Always follow the directions for use.
What's on your bucket list? Skydiving? Swimming with dolphins? Hot air ballooning? Before you plan a bucket list, plan your will with Donlan Lawyers. A will, power of attorney and advanced care directive speak for you when you can't. It means you and your loved ones will be taken care of. Visit donlanlawyers.com. Put it on your bucket list. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Sail away in celebrity style with Celebrity Cruises and Phil Hoffman Travel, with up to 75% off your second guest on board the revolutionary Celebrity Edge, returning to Australian waters in 2025. From luxurious infinite veranda suites to stunning two-storey villas, the extraordinary magic carpet and over 29 exquisite bars, restaurants and lounges, Celebrity Edge will simply take your breath away. Hurry, offer ends April 30. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel, pht.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
22 to 9. Scott Scheffler has just won the Masters, and in a happy twist of fate, that breaking news can be brought to us by our man at the scene, covering the Masters for 5AA. It is our very own golf correspondent, Graham Corns. Stud, good morning to you. It must have just happened in the last couple of minutes.
Just amazing, really. I mean, that noise in the background you heard was they're announcing that Ludwig Oberg, the young fellow who finished second, is just going to the interview room, so I can't get down. Look, just amazing, really. Scotty Scheffler he's almost too good, just too good. He just doesn't show any emotion to, you want your heroes to be a little bit flawed, don't you? He's almost perfect. He won it so easily going away, but I thought the most interesting player out there was the young Swede, Ludwig Oberg. He lives in America. It's his first major tournament. He comes second. He wins $2.16 million US. So that's a pretty good 4 days' work, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty solid. How's your 4 days' work been there, Graham? Just take us through what it's like to go to the Masters. I think it's on everyone, whether you're a golf fan or not. It's on a lot of people's bucket lists.
Well, I'm with a couple of guys from the Glenelg Golf Club. Michael Noble, one of the guys I play with, gets the tickets and every year, and he takes a couple of mates away with him. So it's you have to get an Airbnb accommodation out of town, and you have to get there early to get through the gates. I have media accreditation, which is just unbelievable. I mean, the media facilities here are amazing. I'm sitting next to that journalist from Victoria who likes to stick it into the Crows, Mick
Warner.
Where is he? Mick, hang on, being harassed here. Yeah, Mick Warner. He's been giving me a hard time about the Crows, but I was able to give him a bit back, thankfully, this week. So,
Cornsy, with your media pass, is that the media pass? Is that like an access all areas type deal?
Pretty much. But with it came more. I thought I could just swan around, just cruise around. But just seeing how hard these guys work, and you've just got to do a little bit as well. So it's come with some responsibility, which has been enjoyable. But to see the course, the course is just, you see it painted on postcards, on picture cards, but to see it real, and it still looks like a picture postcard. It's just an amazing course. It's a lot hillier than you think. That 10th fairway could easily be a blue run on a ski slope, if you know what I mean. So it's
Have you been able to play there, mate?
No. The press people can go. They go into a ballot and they draw out a handful enough people to play the course tomorrow. But I have to leave. Tomorrow morning, so I didn't get a chance to do that. It's very hard to get a game here. Members can invite you, and the course is only open for about 5 months of the year. So, I think Alexander Downer has played it, or thinks he can play it, because Condoleezza Rice is a member, and he knows her.
That's handy.
But I don't know what I want to play it. Walking around it is just amazing in itself. But to play it as a hacker golfer, like I am, like high handicap golfer, it's just a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
I don't know how many balls I'd lose. Although the rough isn't too bad, but it just takes you forever to get there. They hit the ball so far to narrow fairways, and I know it would be a thrill to play, but I'd be terrified. I'd hack up. It's a beautifully manicured turf. It looks like it's been I don't know. It's just amazing. Even the rough, the secondary, it can't look like somebody's well kept lawn. So, but it's the whole the course is the star. Augusta itself, isn't that attractive a town? Really, the Savannah River runs through it. We had a walk along there this morning just to say we'd been there. So it's quite historic.
Graham, people who have gone and walked through the gates. So the moment you go through the gates at Augusta National, it feels like you're stepping into a time machine. Did you get that sense? Does it feel like going back in time?
No, it was a bit overwhelming, to be quite frank. The beauty of the place hits you, and how it's absolutely just magnificently tended and cared for and nurtured. The trees they're amazing. The tall trees, there's so many different varieties of them. So I was taken by the beauty of it more than anything. The history of it, yes, and in the media centre there's all these little stories about Bobby Jones, who designed the course and organised, who bought the land and designed the course. So and there's lots of photos, like old press photos, press operating in Nissan huts in the old days with rows and rows of typewriters. So that did give me a sense of history. There's no doubt about that.
Did you sample any of the famously cheap sandwiches?
I did.
What did you go for? Because the menu hasn't changed in 60 years, I think.
No, there's a pimento cheese, which is the favourite. I'm not even sure I said that correctly. But the Masters Club sandwich, that's pretty good. The hot dogs. At the concession stores out on the course, the food is so cheap. And, a glass of beer, a cup of beer, everything is so cheap compared to, say, the MCG or Adelaide Oval, the food concessions there. So, I mean, they do look after the patrons, but they're really strict about where you can go and what you can do. You can't sit on the ground, you can't run, you can't take your phone in. You have to leave your phone at the gate. Even we're allowed to have our phone in the press area, but as soon as we walk out, you have to leave it there. And if you are caught with your phone, you're sort of instantly ejected. So,
wow. That's like David's beach house.
Any technology's banned. Hey, Cornsey, what's this story about you falling asleep?
Oh, yeah, I was jet lagged, so I put my chair on the side. Was it the ninth stairway? So in a way, where the balls, everyone buys these little chairs that you sit in. So I put it where one of the balls would land, and I'm sitting there watching, and I drifted off to sleep. And next minute I hear this commotion around me, and somebody's yelling, "Wake him up, wake him up!" And so I wake up and look around, and Xander Schauffele's ball has rolled right behind me, off the fairway, right behind me. And everyone else has cleared out. and I'm asleep in this chair, which was then part of the fairway. So I realised pretty quickly, jumped up and sort of, nobody knew me, okay? Nobody knew.
That's excellent.
That is superb. Well, good on you, Graham. Thanks for chatting with us, mate. We really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thanks for ringing, boys. It's been if you get a chance to do it, you must come.
Oh, wow. What an experience.
That was
Once in a lifetime. Literally, just moments before we started chatting with Graham, this happened.
His stardom confirmed.
Scotty Scheffler, winner of the Masters. 14-9. We're going to check traffic and come back with some more in just a moment.
At Coromandel Valley, a smash on Main Road near Ackland Hill Road. Another collision at Mawson Lakes. Carvey bus crash on Main Street at University Boulevard. And Dry Creek works with road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road. Speeds reduced there too. Getting busy South Road at Theberton with a camera at Delphi Terrace at Glenelg North. Nothing beats a taste test. Book your seat now for Urban Kitchen in Rundle Mall for Tasting Australia. Don't miss out. Find out more at rundlemall.com today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Coming up on 5AA Mornings, the dreadful incident at Bondi Junction shocked us all on Saturday night as the number of fatalities became apparent. We'll look at that this morning. And locally, a call for a ferry from the York Peninsula to Kangaroo Island. Those topics are some of the ones we're canvassing this morning. Your calls too. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
Beechwood Homes, Adelaide's leading bespoke home builder, celebrates 35 years. Over that time, they've helped many hundreds of people realise their dream of building a home exactly how they envisioned it. That's the wonderful thing about building with Beechwood. There are no set plans, no set rules. It all starts with a pen, paper, and your ideas. Just like it did 35 years ago. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Austrac Campers' space-saving designs mean you can stretch out in a luxury king-size bed that your queen will still steal the covers off. Honey. Oh.
Austrac Campers!
We all know the housing crisis is not going anywhere soon. In fact, recent reports suggest it does seem to be getting worse. But if you're a landlord and you are looking to sell, you have the power to make a difference, a really big difference.
That's right, because McGain have hundreds of landlords looking to buy right now. Get in touch with the McGain team and sell your property to another landlord, and you'll save on the advertising fees too.
It means your current tenants will have somewhere to live. Their kids can then go to the same school. They can hang out with the same friends. And at the end of the day, they still have a place to call home, which is the most important thing of all.
As a landlord looking to sell, you have the power to make a big difference to the housing crisis, and McGain can help you make it happen. Visit their website, mcgain.com.au.
It's SA's biggest cover-up, and thousands of pool owners all over South Australia are implicated. Who's at the centre of it? Walco, of course. Put your pool to bed for winter with a Walco Guardian pool cover. Made right here in SA, a Walco Guardian pool cover will preserve your chemicals, keep your water clean, and you won't need to run your pump. The savings are amazing. Join the great cover-up and get a Walco Guardian pool cover. Visit walco.com.au.
For 40 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip for a new, used or demo vehicle. Back in the day, Michael Steinborner opened Steinborner Holden with just 6 staff on a single site in Gawler. Now they have operations in Gawler, Clare and the Barossa Valley, employing and training around 100 staff, and continue to invest in local community groups with a focus on junior sports. Steinborner Automotive, celebrating 40 years of being well worth the trip for thousands of South Australians.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 to 9, if you were an early riser this morning and driving past the old Coke factory, you may have seen what you thought was low-lying fog. It was in fact smoke from an incident out the back of the Adelaide jail. One of the houses there, we believe the caretaker's house, caught alight. We crossed to the scene and chatted with Jazz Turlings from 7 News a little bit earlier. Have a listen.
But it appears to be the caretaker's house for this area. Unfortunately, the house is completely gutted. It is really close to the old Adelaide jail, and crews on scene here said they had actually quite a difficult task to try and track down where this blaze was actually coming from. I'm not sure if you guys are aware that there's just a couple of houses out the back of the old Adelaide jail here. But good news, no reports of any smoke affecting the horses or dogs at the Theberton Police Barracks, which are right next door here.
And Matt Brown confirmed things from SAPOL's perspective a little bit later.
Fire's been contained to the one premises, which is fully engulfed and sustained extensive damage. Now, the occupant, an 83-year-old man, was able to evacuate, but did suffer injuries. He has been taken to the nearby RAH, and his injuries are not believed to be life-threatening.
Dirk's just sent us a text on the Duttons text line. He says, could only happen to the stud, hashtag Nappy Gilmore. Which is absolutely superb.
It's a good nickname. That could stick.
Nappy Gilmore. Rob says, old man Corn sleeps for 5AA at the golf. I guess it was all part of it, wasn't it? Another one says, hat tip to Graham Corns. I've worked at festivals in summer when I thought I was resting my eyes during a lull. For punters, lull in punters only to be shaken awake by bosses, punters, and some very cranky artists.
If there was one international sports event you could attend, what would it be?
Oh, World Cup final, probably.
Mm.
That feels like cheating. That's such an once every 4 years.
Yeah, I'd say World Cup final.
I don't know. It feels like a gimmicky answer because anything Olympics or something that only happens once every four years.
Mm.
But something like this, though, for the exclusivity of it.
Yeah.
Like the Masters at Augusta, you just can't get into.
You wouldn't rather go to a Super Bowl than a World Cup final?
No.
You're not massive NFL, though,
No,
are you?
I'm not. I quite like it. I really like it as a sport, but I'm not emotionally invested in it.
No.
Like with soccer or basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah. The other thing that's going to happen, and it's not that far away actually, in about just under an hour's time today, Justice Lee is going to deliver his judgment in the matter of Bruce Lehrman v. Network, Bruce Lehrman and Network 10. It's been live streamed on YouTube. Apparently, this whole court case has been live streamed, and it's broken every record that the federal courts had on viewership by about tenfold. So
didn't like 35,000 people watch last week.
Yeah, they did.
When that
Auerbach, the Taylor Auerbach,
7 producer had the trial reopened.
Yeah, it was like they basically got more people to that than they do to a Swans game.
It's amazing, isn't it? Certainly to a GWS game.
Certainly to a GWS game. So 9:45 today, that case will reach a conclusion. If you're of the sort of person that would like to watch it, you can do that via YouTube. Otherwise, I reckon it'll dominate all news services right across the day tonight, and indeed on 5AA as well. So
what a cesspit that old trial's become.
I think the only thing that's going to be interesting to see is ultimately how this one falls now. What the determination is, and whether it means an end.
I think that whatever Lehrman is suing Channel 10 for, the perception of him as a person that has emerged during the trial has rendered the initial trigger for the defamation proceedings kind of redundant. Seriously.
Yeah.
What about the neighbours who were interviewed last week saying they were so glad that he got out of his digs on the North Shore? Very happy to see the back of him, given the partying that was going on there. Unbelievable.
Just getting word through the New South Wales Police Commissioner has just held a press conference. So let's have a little bit of what she's just had to say. That is Karen Webb.
Well, following handing back the crime scene, many, and in fact hundreds of exhibits have been seized by police and will be now subject to forensic investigation over the coming days and weeks. In addition, detectives will be interviewing family members for those who died. That will be a slow and painstaking process, as you can imagine, dealing with people in trauma, as will interviewing of witnesses. Overnight, another 50 witnesses have come forward, and we anticipate other people will come forward. And if anyone hasn't yet spoken to police or made themselves known.
She was also asked about and commented on the speculation that women were a deliberate target.
Difficult to say, but certainly a line of inquiry that is concerning. I mean, it's obvious to us, and the video evidence does show that, and so it certainly will be a line of inquiry.
Okay, so that's New South Wales Police Commissioner Karen Webb. Let's have a look at the fuel situation now. We do so with the help of the excellent free RAA app. You can find out when fuel is at its cheapest and where to fill up nearby. Cheapest unleaded is $1.83.5 at the ex-convenience Doothie Street only. $1.82.9 at the ex-convenience Hamilton Terrace Newton. The cheapest diesel, $1.88.9. It's jumped up a little bit actually this Monday morning at the Southern Cross Grange Road at Fulham Gardens. So that one is a little bit cheaper. It was about $1.83 for most of last week.
I was filled up for $1.75 at Aldingaron said. I was pretty happy with that. Good people at Caltex there.
No, you've done well there.
That was good.
All right. Any Dutton's text to take us out before we go?
Just some more general ribbing of Cornsey. People got a real kick out of that. He's how much longer is he sticking around there for? He won't be back till probably with the time difference. He probably won't make it back this week. I don't think. No, he's not. He's not around until next week. Cornsey.
Job of a lifetime. Fell asleep while Xander Schauffele's ball was hitting his direction. The crowd parted and he had to be woken up.
Crazy stuff.
These things only happen to Graham Corns.
Hey, as we heard with Stacey Lee earlier, the Premier is announcing his first cabinet reshuffle later today. There'll be no surprises when Dan Cregan replaces Jeff Brock as the Minister for Local Government. That's going to go ahead as expected. Hearing a few whispers that there could be some changes to the water portfolio. That's currently part of Sue Close's portfolio.
Okay.
But with the spiralling cost of water, it's becoming a big issue for a lot of businesses as well. Bit of feeling about that, and I've heard a few tips that could be part of it. But
opposition ready in cardboard cutouts. You're going to work out whose shape they're going to be in.
Exactly.
Exciting news for the rest of this week. Live Golf, of course, is back. We've got tickets to give away to the ultimate Live Golf Adelaide weekend. So we're going to put you to the test with your golfing knowledge. We're going to play a little nearest to the pin, which we play usually when footy coverage, so it makes much more sense to play it during golf. The closest to the day's answer will score a double pass to Live Golf on Friday the 26th of April, and they'll also be in the running to be upgraded to the ultimate Live experience. So make sure you're tuning in all this week. That's coming up. It's not too far away. We're going to be playing a game of nearest to the pin every day, and it'll be your chance to win tickets.
And Friday week, we're going to be down there too.
Exactly right. So it starts on the 26th of April. We're going to be there, runs through to the 28th. You can still get limited tickets, actually, at livegolf.com.
Anzac Day next Thursday. I wonder how many people are going to be feeling, a bit of gastro coming on sort of late Wednesday afternoon with a view to...
Not going to be in Friday.
Yeah. Coming back for one day.
I know.
Barely worth it.
You better not be having any of those
No,
thoughts.
no, mate. We'll be here.
All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow morning.
Why
from
will
6. Yeah, I never said anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Budget Car and Truck Rental has everything you need to get from A to B